We're live.
TMV's got his YouTube face, and we had a small delay there before we went live, so he had to keep pogging with his little YouTube thumbnail face for longer than you might expect. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Plat Chat VALORANT episode 212. We're joined here to talk a little bit about the Pacific stuff before we then launch into EMEA in Americas. How's everybody's weeks been? Sliggy, TMV, Achilleos. You all had a fun little time in week 3?
We've had some diabolical Valorant. There's been some fucking shocking Valorant.
Well, there it goes.
Also, I'm fucking it's we're being sponsored this episode. Let's get the sponsor.
Well, now that he's got the he took the cap off.
Dude, that must be the fastest one yet. That was fast.
That's really quick.
That's how bad it was.
gold
That's how bad it
split.
was, though. Some of it.
Go on then.
Some of it's good, though.
Now that you've already opened the door and essentially demonetized the entire episode, why was it so bad? I feel like we've been having some rough Valorant all stage, to be honest.
Yeah, but it just felt there was. I mean, you must have watched FURIA Lev yesterday.
Yeah, dude, I thought it was the recency bias. I knew it was the recency bias of the FURIA game. That FURIA poll. Oh my goodness. I was trying to like go back to old school and not flames. So every round they did something bad, I was like resetting. So just literally after like every 30 seconds, I was like reset, man, because there was so much bad stuff going on. It was yeah. Oh my goodness. I hope you guys cover that in America's later because that was. It was a shambles.
Funny. It was funny.
It was absolute shambles. It was, but I don't think the rest of the stuff was too bad. I think that's the only game that like really stuck out as like super criminal.
We've had some very one-sided
Sure.
maps where people just haven't really been able to figure out a certain side of attack or something like that. But if we have a members question, right? But
Yeah.
I think it's sorry. Let me. I've pulled up literally the wrong show for this week, and only just realized when I looked over and was like,
He's looking at
"That's
like
not the
last
right
week's
members
script.
question." Yeah, I'm looking at it and I'm like, that is not the right members question. I know what the members question is, and that is not the correct one. So, give me just a moment. Kurt, do you have what the members question is? So
I
that
could
we
ask
could
it if
fly
you'd
into
like.
it. Yeah, go. There we go. All right,
What's your
if you want to
favorite
become a
VCT
member,
jersey?
what was your favorite VCT jersey from any region, any year? For example, PaperX 2023's Champs jersey. I mean, why would they give an example that is going to be one of our...
Oh, you think? I think Paperbacks have better jerseys than that.
Well, which one was the dinosaur one? Which one was the one
Yeah,
that
the
was like...
dinosaur one was
That
better,
was
for
bad.
sure.
Yeah.
Was that 22 or 21 or something?
I think that's 22.
I forget.
The dinosaur one was better than that one. 100%.
Yeah, I would agree.
I got one from this year that I really like.
Okay.
I like the Nova long sleeves. I'm a fan of the long sleeve jerseys. Not to play with because obviously like a lot of people don't want like long sleeve on their mouse arm.
Right.
But I like the look of it. I think the Nova one in China, I think that looks sick. It's like black and purple. That's good. And purple's underrated at the moment. No one really has that. So that's probably my favorite at the moment. My least favorite is definitely the EG one. Oh my goodness. So I have any chance, man. That EG one is so criminal. The tech support one. Yeah, dude, this jersey's nice.
Those
Have
look
you
clean.
ever had a good jersey?
No.
The basic one, like the classic one, but that's more for I think nostalgia.
No,
Like the one that makes me think about like the olden days of EG and like StarCraft and that kind of stuff. Like I'd say like that jersey's good.
Yeah, that really hits with the dad demographic, I think.
Yeah, through numbers.
I can't be the only one bringing one.
No,
up. Come on,
I got
someone
one
else.
as well.
Oh, I submitted one. I just wasn't
submit
sure.
Mine, an
Okay.
all-time classic. The best thing this org has done in Valorant
Don't
was
say
this
Ascend.
jersey.
Ascend champs.
No,
21.
not
Let me-
Ascend.
let me
Although
dig it
this
up.
Ascend
Hold on,
jersey is
hold
very
on.
nice.
This is TMB's
But,
pick here.
the one I sent to Kurt. This is the best thing this org has done in Valorant. Is this jersey right?
Oh,
Yeah.
The Burger King.
Honestly, you're
Locked-in
so right for
Giants.
that. You're
It's
so right for that.
iconic. It's iconic. If you think of Giants in Valorant, you think of this jersey. Because they haven't done
True.
much else, but you think of this jersey.
This was one of the jerseys as well where you could tell they all ordered it, but they should have ordered like a size above because all of them were like really tight as well, man. It was not flattering. It's the lime green with the big Burger King, and then it's just like tight, and you're like, damn.
amazing.
dude."
Runk in the
So
wash the night
funny.
before the game.
It's so funny.
Yeah, this was bold.
I don't think
Really
mine's going to be shocking for anybody if anyone wants to take a stab in the dark here.
The RX.
jersey.
Aha! You fucking fools! No,
T1
it's a
jersey.
Vision Strikers
Oh,
jersey.
Vision
Oh.
Strikers.
I mean,
No, I
honestly,
genuinely
looks
like
he's
this
10.
one.
That's quite nice, to be honest.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
kind of nice.
I love how Buzz just looks like he's an AI face. It just doesn't look real.
Is that actually Buzz?
Yeah, this was from when Buzz and Mako got announced when they joined Vision Strikers
Wow.
back in forever ago.
It doesn't look so much like they aged as they became different humans. I mean, they're almost unrecognizable.
Yeah, I think this had some doctoring done by Dexardo or whatever the fuck this was from. I just pulled it from an article, but I liked the jersey. I liked the color scheme, and the classic Vision Strikers was good. It wasn't one of those jerseys where this was before they had like the bank logo in the middle when they changed over to DRX. So this one was
Yeah.
very nice and just straight up. And it's like, okay, you know exactly what you're getting. You know exactly who you're cheering for. You're not cheering for Soul Bank. You're not cheering for Burger King. You're cheering for Vision Strikers.
Yeah,
Fair
I agree. I like the clean, like MIBR's one. I like this year as well. Like the kind of it does MIBR.
Dude, the
right?
MIBR one
Like-
looks sick.
Yeah,
Oh, and
it's
I'll-
just, it's
I don't
clean.
think
It's
I've
just
actually
clean.
seen
It's
it.
just a-
You haven't
something
seen it?
nice.
It's clean.
It's
And
Oh, this
also,
is-
we'll talk about this later,
I'll
but
show you.
Vertesia, turtleneck, big win against C9. Ospas is on.
Will we talk about that?
We'll
are we
definitely
gonna
talk about
that
it. That's,
later?
that's
right?
an important
Just the
topic.
turtleneck. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. Ospas is showing his teammates what a turtleneck is. They're wearing it and they're winning.
That's true. Yeah, nice
Checkmate,
correlation.
non-believers.
I do hate the collar meta this year though. Everyone's got a collar, man. I don't like them.
I
Mm.
think
guys
you have
notice
to
that?
design the jerseys really well. Like one of my favorite jerseys is probably a controversial one. It's the Gambit one that had the collar.
Oh yeah,
but I
Gambit
think
was classic.
But I think they're one of the only orgs to actually pull off a collared look without it looking either like a school uniform or I don't know, something else a bit.
classic.
Like I like this one. I don't know whether it's the
Yeah.
color combo or whether it's something else, but it avoids looking too preppy, I think, despite the fact it's literally a polo shirt.
Why is his name Nits?
No, you
I mean,
can't
it
say the
looks like
band.
it
It's
says
actually nuts.
nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it like
Oh,
straight
hey.
up isn't nuts, is it?
it can't be nuts. Yeah, it might actually be nuts.
But also, it's got like something behind his head. Like, look where the T goes. It then goes
Yeah.
like up right next to his, or is that
That's
just
his
his
head,
head?
That's just his
bro?
head.
That's his hair.
That's
Oh,
just
that's
his
his
hair.
hair. Yeah.
I think this is
Oh,
a.
that's-
Which, if that's
is
how his
going
hair
on?
is, he's got a
Look
there's
at
a
his
fucking
head.
like curve in his skull like that.
Guys, what?
What are you talking
just his
about?
hair,
He just has his
dude.
hair up and over.
He has his hair up. Yeah.
I
Where
know.
have
I'm
you
saying.
found
I'm
this
saying. I'm saying it makes it look like there's this like weird like angle because of the way that his hair is waved.
There's an AI generated this and put nuts behind him. I don't understand how that
Might
has
be the
happened.
case.
Maybe somebody's made that as a YouTube thumbnail and thought it was like a good pun because he's like been playing nuts,
Yeah,
but he's
crazy
actually
well, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
nuts or something. I don't know. That seems like the kind of thing that I would do as a YouTube thumbnail, to be honest, without thinking about how stupid it is. All right. Well, we do have a sponsor, thankfully, this week. TMV, when he went on his gold split demonetization spree. I'm going to get him back.
80%.
I'm just by the way, if you're in TMV's chat, every time he starts a YouTube video and he still has the chat on screen, just start typing in just stuff to demonetize
Horrendous
him.
shit.
Yeah, I mean, you will get banned. I want to be very clear. You're going to get permanently
Yeah.
banned from his channel. But we will send some people in like little Plat Chat crusaders to demonetize everything he's ever created. All right, but this episode, thanks to our members for sending in that question, and thanks also to Factor Meals for sponsoring this episode. So if you go to factormeals.com/valorant50off, you can find out all the good stuff from Factor, and you can also get 50% off your first box. Appreciate Factor because they help us keep the lights on over here and the people paid. And essentially, the idea of Factor is that they are sending you meals that arrive fresh and ready to eat, perfect for an active lifestyle, or in fact, as I suspect, a less than active lifestyle for some of our listeners. But who am I to judge? So they've got 45 different weekly menu options. You can pick gourmet meals that fit your goals, from Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, Keto, and more. They've got satisfying breakfasts, on-the-go lunches, premium dinners, guilt-free snacks, and desserts. And you can pack in the flavor, throw them in the microwave, heat them up in a couple of minutes, and you're going to, I mean, with 50% off especially, you're going to save a lot of money compared to, for example, ordering a bunch of food if you've got a very busy lifestyle that you need to be monitoring your meals around. So you can get started by going to factormeals.com/Valorant50off and use code Valorant50off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box as well. So that's code Valorant50off at factormeals.com/Valorant50off for 50% off plus free shipping. All right, let's get into the show then, shall we? Should we talk about some Pacific stuff that happened this week?
I reckon just go straight to Americas.
Yeah.
All right, well then, Cortesia's turtleneck. We must discuss it. We must discuss it. Now, first point of order, as it feels like it is every week, Zeta Division got whacked again.
What? I mean, come on. That's
harsh.
I mean, I know you're playing up to the "ooh, I'm the inverse Z guy," but like they lost. It was a 0-2, but I think that there were still some positives to take away for Zeta Division. Like I think they could have gotten blown out of the water way more one-sidedly than they did. Depp is still Depp. I mean, the guy almost dropped 30 in a loss on Haven or whatever.
That's a good sign.
I mean, it's not a bad one, particularly. Like it's way better than him dropping fuck all. You
say just as Kurt highlights him dropping sweet fuck all.
Look, he took that one on the chin, though. He updated his profile picture and everything to show his VLR rating. He knew that he wasn't doing well. The Yoru is something I think that's maybe still out of reach for the moment. But look, I don't think Zeta looked horrendous, but RRQ are definitely the ones to talk about. They looked good. They looked damn good. Crazy Guy was very, very good this series.
It's like, for me at least, it's the best I've seen him play, especially on that Haven. Like, he was actually just like proper, just outsmarting everyone. The
best he's played since Ascension.
Yeah, I think so as well. And fragging heavy, which honestly I don't think he needs to do in this team, but obviously it helps because I think that would have been a pretty close map if he didn't really step up. I think in terms of Zeta, I actually think both of the teams were calling pretty well. I just feel like when I watch Zeta, a lot of the time they just do lose angels, I feel like, or they don't actually like fight together well. I think they actually have a bit of like a firepower issue when I watch them. But I still like on Lotus, they're doing everything correct. Like they're taking map control, they have outs. Like if they're gonna be lurking, like they're creating pressure around the map. It's not like they're doing anything bad. I think I noticed that more because I watched them like straight after DFM, who were who were not doing that, who were just 5-manning the whole time. So I was like very focused in on like the actual calling, and I felt like the calling was still pretty good. I don't know. I just feel like they just get out dueled a lot.
They kind of on split as well. They kind of went back to kind of old Zeta Division as well. Some of the rounds I put round 6 on Kurt as like an example of like the kind of very slow, almost basically do nothing for kind of like, I don't know, 40 seconds, right? And then start to formulate a plan. And like it sometimes when you watch that kind of style, like I almost feel like, guys, what are you doing? Like you're doing nothing. And then they end up winning like a couple of those rounds. And you're like, I guess it fucking worked. Good for you, I guess it worked. But then and again, like an XQQ has taken over as head coach, right? Achilles, he's back.
Yeah.
And I think you kind of can sense that almost in like the way like they've changed. Like, because on Split there was a lot of slow stuff, but then on Haven, it's like, well, we're playing Neon now, so fucking, go fucking crazy Depp, right? So,
oh, dude, you should play round 13 from that Haven. Yeah, I think it's a good summary of just kind of how like a lot of the rounds went for Zeta. But you can queue up the round 6 from Split first if you want.
Okay.
It was the pistol in the second half.
Yeah, the Crazy Guy won at the end, right?
Yeah, because it starts with Depp just like hitting the pace, killing 2 people with a frenzy, and everything looks great, and then it doesn't, and then it just falls up to pieces. And I feel like that was a decent summary for a lot of the rounds for Zeta, where it felt like they were making the right steps, they were making the right calls, but then one or two things goes wrong. They forget about this angle, they forget about this utility, and then it just falls apart. So it's like they're really close to being like pretty good, but they just keep having these mistakes. And if they can tune those up, then they are going to be a solid like middle table team.
But like, I think the question for RRQ, all right, here's round 6. I hope it's round 6 is the right one, but I think they are just going to end up like sitting for a while here. So we're going to be waiting a while, I think, because this is Zeta, right? So we're just waiting, and I think they do end up
down.
Yeah, the clock is going down. We're gonna wait. We're gonna wait. We're gonna be here a while. The watch time is going up. Gonna wait. Hold on. Hold. Any minute now. Hold.
They're not doing
drone.
anything.
Something's happening. Hold. Something. Hold on. Oh, we're having a little plan. Oh, maybe they aren't gonna aggro on us yet, guys. Okay, a formulation of a plan. Hold. I honestly, there are more rounds that are perhaps even worse than this. Oh, I remember. Yes, this round wasn't like they end up going for this B exec, but then they end up not execing because like their duelist dies, so they TP and they don't exec, and it's like, oh shit. And now obviously the time is low. I think they end up winning this round still somehow, even though they had like a bad exec after just waiting and bleeding the clock down. Now I remember why I wanted to watch this round. Yeah, it wasn't great, this one. But I think they end up winning it somehow.
Oh yeah, this is when they start running back to B.
Yeah, like time.
Yeah,
like and they end up winning. So it all works
out.
out.
They cause enough of a distraction.
Yeah,
I've seen Vitality and FNATIC play this exact same round before, actually.
Yeah, multiple times as well in the past.
And there was multiple rounds like this as well from Zeta. But yeah, I think we should focus on RRQ though, because they're the team that are like they have a chance.
Yeah, no, they have a chance and they look good. And I think that at the moment you can see like a clear game plan. Like they're pretty good at anting from what I can tell at the moment. Like even if you just look at that clip, like they know every single time that Viper smoke gets thrown over towards middle, you saw them like make sure they actually prioritize over towards A heaven so they could just hold all of A with one, because obviously they don't have that passive pressure anymore. So I feel like they're very well drilled at the moment, and I think their comps are kind of nice as well. They're leaning into this Gemkin just being a beast, and I think it's a big win condition for them. And he's performing well, so it's working nice.
Azure is really clean.
They've got a chance of being able to end top of the table if T1 stumble, I suppose. Do you think there's a chance of that?
I mean,
if they beat T1,
yeah, they beat them. They win.
Then yeah, because then they just have to play secret.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously. Yes.
The thing is,
I suppose we'll be discussing this when we come to like predictions time anyway. But do you think that they're in with a serious chance?
Yeah,
I think.
Well, that's the thing with T1 though, because you always even today, like you watch them and there's moments where you're like, this team, like they could lose any game. It feels like at T1 at times, and then they just fucking win at the end.
I definitely feel like their icebox is really beatable.
Oh, their icebox is not very good. Yeah,
I'm watching Meteor throw 2 Reyna flashes in the whole game, thinking, why are you on Reyna, man? Like, just play an ISO if you want to be doing this. He's playing a Reyna like an ISO, just contacting everywhere. So I think it's doable. I probably don't think it will happen. Like, obviously, you would go with the numbers, but from what we've seen and how they've looked in the last 2 weeks with like set game plan, they're at least getting a map here. And
I mean, most people get a map off T1. Oh,
yeah.
What's coming next, Kurt?
Sharing all of our secrets. I mean, I think that's a sign to me to move us along. He's like showing the next topic. Let's get there. Let's get there, guys. Well, the next topic is to talk about the DFM Gen.G game, and I suppose if we're looking at, I mean, TMV, you had a sneaky little awful segue there in your previous comment where you said, "Oh, we should probably talk about RRQ because at least they have a chance." Just throw in Zeta to the Wolves, which you're very correct. They pretty much don't have a chance at this point. But if we were looking at the other side of things, are things as locked in Group Alpha? Because it kind of feels like in Group Omega, you've got Team Secret and Zeta are almost always going to be those bottom 2 teams.
This one's up in the air because both PaperX and DFM have been shite. Because neither of them has gotten a win yet, it's more up in the air than it otherwise would have been. And Global
but it's
also
not,
has had some stumbles.
But it's not like DFM are one of those that are up. I mean, you know,
they're pretty screwed after especially after the last loss, because now you can see like their round differential rather is like abysmal. But PaperX has to play both Global and DFM as their last opponents.
Are they the only team? Are they the only team in Valorant to not have a map win in stage 1?
I believe Koi is the other team that doesn't.
Oh, Koi have played one less game, but yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, but, and if Secret had gotten 2-0, then it would have been them as well, I think.
Yeah. I do, dude, this game hurt me a little bit, man. I think DFM, it just seems like they regress week by week and they just lose confidence. Like I've never noticed their calling being this bad. And I don't know if I haven't like focused on it before, but they just 5-person Valorant. I was comparing it to 2024 K-Corp where like they just pack together and they have no backup options. And I can see from how Gen.G are rotating that they know they do this as well. So it can't just be like a one-time thing. They give themselves no outs in the attack rounds and they're just stuck to whatever the original plan is. And they look like they have no confidence. And there's just no one's clutching anymore. You know, in the off-season where it's just like taking turns and clutching. You just don't see any of this anymore. Like, I'm really worried for this team. Because they're not even close to winning games or maps.
Yeah, I'm really concerned as well. And like you said, like the lack of confidence, the problem is like it leads you to lose a game. You're not taking fights that you like otherwise should be favored to win or have a chance at winning. And then you just get the snowball where you get these like really one-sided games. And then when you get out of the game, you kick yourself even harder. Art took that loss so fucking hard. Like he was beside himself, like upset about that loss. You kind of saw it a bit when he was walking off the stage. That he took that one super badly. And I get it. Like it was a really, really rough one, but it's like, how do you, given the performances, how do you bounce back from that? It's really, really difficult. I think a lot of it has to, kind of come from the coaching staff. But one of the things that I kind of felt like I had to point out during this series was that we would see timeouts called and there's basically no communication happening on the DFM camps. No one's talking. The coaches just mouths are fucking glued shut. And the only person who's talking is like maybe Jinbung Art a little bit, but like there's none of this back and forth. Like I'd rather see the coaches, be pissed, but at least be communicating and saying like, this is what you're doing wrong. This is what you need to focus on, than just sit there quietly. So for me, I'm watching it. I'm just like, where is the change going to come from? Because if it's not going to come from the coaches, I don't know if the players are going to be able to find it themselves.
Yeah, I think that's very fair. After this clip, to show the performance on VLR from like the 2 maps, I think they win like 1 clutch during all of this. It's like 1v1. You can't be winning games if no one's winning 1v1s as well. Like the confidence is just it's fully gone. Like it's fully gone. And I don't know how they get it back. Like look at that, dude. It's Jinbung. That's it. He's only won 1v1.
Go on, Jinbung.
There's a clip I want to show of this Kurt as well. I don't remember ever seeing this. If you go to round 12 on Lotus, May just walks past a vice wall on his own. Like he sees the vice wall on the floor, doesn't like bait it out, just fucking walks past it. And then
he's just locked in.
He's just locked in and dies. Like it was honestly, it's so strange. Like yeah. It's a very, very like if you go to round 12 and then like you can skip it ahead a bit, because like he starts over towards A and the rest of the team's on the other side of the map.
You think he just got the call of the void or something?
Like yeah, if you go go back a bit, Kurt, because you'll see it here. Like so yeah, so like he's on A, he's kind of pushed up on his own. He's there, the wall's not tripped. He must see it.
Just and then the thorns pop.
The thorns pop.
And he's just sat here.
Dead. I don't think I've ever seen that before. It's like he didn't know what Vice did.
I think
but he doesn't hear the thorns yet though, right?
Wait, can you go?
Maybe not, but he knows the wall's there. And even if it was a panic and he didn't realize the wall was there, like he could have just blast packed back out over it.
Yeah, that's true.
And he could just exit.
I think he thinks there's a spot he can stand in there.
Oh no, he tries to go back.
Maybe,
he tries to like trigger it, I think.
Maybe.
I think he tries to stand on a spot where...
Forward, yeah.
But
Yeah,
But
I
on
think he
it-
pushes him forwards.
At this point, it's 2-9 anyway. Like I don't want to go in too much on that. Like the game's already done at this point. It is pretty.
How
rough,
much?
But
How much was this Gen.G just destroying them then? Because I mean,
a good
our
amount.
expectations for Gen.G
'G
were
considerably.
pretty high. They've been taking a while to get together, but you do somewhat expect them to very easily handle a team like DFM, especially in like a 1v1 kind of department. The quality of the players is supposed to be one of the strengths.
I'd say they manhandled them more than I would have anticipated, honestly. Even with DFM's like spiraling form, like just having May not even really have a series at all. Like he used to, like last year, he was the shining light, and you're like, okay, well at least May will always go out and drop like 20 kills or whatever. You know, he'll always, you know, be fragging. That wasn't happening in this set, but everybody from Gen.G was just pounding them into the pavement. Like Munchkin was having insane, just like fragging IGL performances. Foxy9 was looking incredible. Like his kind of like first times coming out playing Vice and stuff, and he was finding really solid impact for the team. Ash was looking really good, like just across the board. It was just devastation.
Bad.
But out of like the multiple like 2-man that they keep on switching, I think this is my favorite. Like Ash and Foxy9, I think this is the one they stick with. Like this just everyone looks the most comfortable, and these are the highest firepower out of like the 4 that they've kind of been switching between. So
yeah,
I think they stick with this. So I think this is at least a good signs for Gen.G. And I don't know, Foxy9 played really good. Like he had a point to prove. And
Again?
Yeah, once again he's back to last year. The same things happened, or he's getting benched and then he gets another chance to go. But I mean, he's playing well. He's a grinder though, right? He's like number 1 in ranked in Pacific at the moment as well. I think that's right. So
he's got time to play it while he's on the bench.
Well, yeah, he's got time to play it, but yeah, I mean, pretty much. But it's still a good sign to see that like he's just trying to prove that he should be there. But yeah, I mean, I was impressed with Gen.G, but it just felt like it was hard to look away from like how poor DFM were playing, because it was just a stomp. It wasn't even close.
Yeah.
All right. I want to move us along because I feel like most people want us to talk about the next game too. We've been a bit negative. We've been focused on the teams that have been underperforming. So I want to start this with the team that did well, because I know that you guys will also want to talk plenty about the team that lost this one. But Boom have been playing they've been getting some really good wins. For a team that we had originally anticipated to be at the pretty much bottom of the standings, and we thought that they like overperformed in the Ascension finals. Yeah, they made the DOS9 swap, but we weren't really anticipating them being like a powerhouse Ascension team. They've actually been like one of the best Ascension rosters to look at in terms of getting these scalps. Obviously, they're not like G2 or something, but they've been out there.
They're trending in that direction.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Like they're the mechanics are there, and there's just some things that need to be fine tuned. And like you are probably going to be looking at the SEA version of G2, which is G2 with some Riz. So like I think it's going to be. I think Boom's on the right track. No more, just boring. Oh, stock standard play. We play methodical, perfect Valorant. And blah, blah, blah. Like this is the G2 that runs at you. This is the G2 with like 5 Jogamos.
Damn. 5 Chocomos. I do like. Again, I think the DOS9 is just like a huge upgrade. I didn't realize that he was going to be this good. The thing that I like about this team is they're smart, and I can tell the coach knows what he's doing. Like they're coming in prepped every like week by week. You can see the things they're focusing on. I think Famous played outrageous in this game. Like one of the better performances I've seen from him, especially when he gets an op. He's getting the first pick all the time. So I liked, because I feel like Paper Rex improved a lot as well, but I do think that Boom is like one of those teams now where it's like they're like, instead of what we thought like maybe just make playoffs, they're like masters contenders. Like they can actually take the 3rd spot here. I feel like it's close, like it's really close in Pacific. There's like 5 teams, but I think in terms of where our expectations were, this is like the most improved team, or the most underrated team, I guess, if you're looking at how we thought they were going to be.
Yeah, I like that they won on Pearl with like DOS9 bottom fragged on that map as well. I like that, like, oh, you don't need him to like, fucking drop 25 every single map to, be good.
Famous just goes crazy.
Yeah, because Famous will do it instead, right? And that's good though, right? It's good that they don't have to like, oh, if he has a bad, because you're thinking probably before this week I was thinking if DOS9 does have a bad map, they might struggle a little bit, right? But they showed that they can still win, which I liked. And yeah, I think you're absolutely right. So like, I think like if we were doing a power ranking right now, the one that I did in the week, like I put Boom third, right? And I think that they deserve that, right? And like, yeah, that's like they should be contending for Masters, right? They are that good. I mean, they're probably going to play DRX to see who's going to win the group. That's pretty much where they are, and so it's I mean, they might go flawless in a group, which I mean, it is insane to think we definitely would have put them last and definitely did, and to be this good, even if you would have told people that like, oh, DOS9 is going to be like this incredibly good player. That most people probably would have said, okay, they won't be last, right? They'll be 8th. But no, the whole team.
Even if you had them on a similar level to Nongshim, because they played similarly in the Ascension final, they've looked more
they're
like
polished.
Not just
they're
impressive, but like they have more growth potential as well. Like they have more like to them.
That's what I mean. Like week by week, you actually see visually their improvement, and I think their map balls are getting pretty good as well. Like I was looking at the beginning, I thought it was like just Haven, but their fractures starting to look pretty nice as well. So yeah, I kind of have them. Dude, Pacific playoffs are gonna be sick because I really don't know which way it goes, and there's so many games, and like my pick'ems in Pacific are so fucked. I can't get anything right. The other regions, I'm like so fine. I can pretty much get a good basis on. This, I might as well go for the opposite of what I'm thinking because I can't get anything right. And
really,
but I want to go for
believing in Paper Rex. He picked Paper Rex last week.
Yeah, of course. Of course I did. But how do they? Yeah, but they should have won this. Do you not think? Can we talk about Paper Rex?
I'm 13 and 5 of my pred so far this stage.
You're 13 and 5. You want to do mine? You can do mine.
If you just want to copy my homework, you can copy my homework.
Yeah, honestly, send it over. I'm down for it because I can't get anything right.
Right, so pick against Team Secret.
But Paper Rex,
helps.
Man. Paper Rex are killing me a little bit. I do think this was big improvements, and like obviously the big change from them was Patman came in. And then Patmen, sorry,
multiple of them.
Multiple of the men. So he came in and he replaced Mind Freak, which is interesting because I thought he would be like a Jing or something because it doesn't really, in theory, sort out the roles too much. And then we saw,
definitely doesn't sort out the roles.
Definitely didn't really sort out the roles. Then we saw Jing go primary smokes, apart from we kind of seen that anyway, but he stayed primary smokes. So he's replacing what Mind Freak would be doing. Then Patman's just like full initiator flex from what it looks like. But then Devi is also kind of a flex and is playing like smokes and then Vice. And dude, some of the Vice stuff on the last map was criminal. He's like team flashing himself twice. I'm watching their ult rounds every time. Chat, I don't know why I'm calling you chat. I stream too much. Do you know what I do? I call my girlfriend chat sometimes, and it's the most criminal thing. It's become an addiction at this point. I can't stop saying
what the fuck?
I've called it. I do it like once a month.
Does she like?
Least. Yeah, no, she'll be like,
give you dinner or something, and you're like, oh, thanks for the donation.
Thanks, chat. Yeah, appreciate you. No, it is.
Oh, that's a tier 3.
No, she tells me off, dude, because it's like, stop calling me chat. It's crazy. But dude, their ults are so bad. I'm looking at them on Pearl. And they lost 2 rounds where they used 3 ults. And this is one of them. They like Astra ult really deep, they clear it, and then they put the 2 smokes down to like give you space so you can push all the way through. So like, yeah, you want to come disrespect the Astra ult? Sure, you now got the safety of the smokes. I'm like, what are we doing? And then we haven't really taken the space, and then we're just fade ulting, and then it's so hard for us to actually like get out because we've done the smokes early instead of using the Astra wall. And it's like, if you wanted to just do these smokes, you should have just done these smokes, taken space, and then done the Astra wall. I don't get why they just don't take the space. And there's an exact round like this on the last round as well, and I just don't Dude, their thought process when it comes to alts is really rough. Like really, really rough. Everyone's having a really rough time trying to work out their agents at the moment, and they need like they need time. They need time, and they don't have time. Well, unless we're just focusing on stage 2, which I think at this point they might.
Yeah, is it even? What are even the chances of them making playoffs?
Basically, they just need to beat
They
Global
win their
and-
next 2 games.
Yeah, beat
basically.
DFM. They should beat DFM. Like,
Well, they
as
have to
bad
play
as, like, it
DFM
was-
and they play Global.
And those are the other
if-
2 teams that would be pushed back down.
Yes.
Yeah.
If Global wins versus Gen.G, then it's a must win for Paper X, and even then, I'm not sure if it's guaranteed. I think somebody on Reddit might have written out there was a post that said like, "Here's how Paper X makes it to Toronto."
Remember the fucking Sentinel ones with like
Yeah,
I just saw it, but
50 pages of need this to happen and then this.
But it's simple.
I didn't look at
Paper
it
X.
though.
They just got to win both. I'm pretty sure they just got to win
If-
both.
If
and
they
then,
win both, they should be good.
But then they're
it's
gonna then they're gonna be 4th, so they're gonna
Oh,
be in the
the
lower
lowest, yeah.
bracket.
But
Yeah,
I
can we
also
talk about
think
this
they need
round?
to win both. I think they need to win both like 2-0 or something.
Yeah,
Or at least one of them has to be
Oh,
2-0.
really? That might be right.
There's something like that for them to qualify. I think.
Go back, please. I gotta talk about this round. This is what I'm talking about with alts at the moment.
I'm gonna look at the post.
There's people with Teo alt at the moment. You have a clear Teo alt where you can get all of dish. They have a wall to give them an indication of when they should be using the alt, and they don't use the alt. You would get 4 kills here. It's guaranteed. I have a clip from Talon later. It clears all of dish. There's like certain places on certain maps you can't go against a Teo alt, and they have the wall to trigger it, and they're just sitting there with the alt out, and I'm just like, guys, just go for it. Like, well, everyone's so unconfident in their agents, and even if they get 4th, they're not doing anything in playoffs. They just need they need 2 months. So.
It's rough. The clip everyone's gonna want you to show, Kurt, as well, is the last round. The
Devi flash.
The Devi self flash as well. The people
I mean, that's
clamoring.
that's a
for it.
comical clip.
But you know that's the second one in the in the half, I think it is, or at least in the map. And then it just shows it's the best example of just they aren't comfy. Like no one's comfy. Even when I watch something on Yoru on Pars, like not comfy. Maybe Jing on Phoenix. That's the only thing where I'm just like, okay, yeah. He looks comfy.
Yeah, because he's played a million times before, rather than everyone else who's playing fucking roles they never have before. It's all over the fucking shop.
But Patman played good. Can we agree on that? Did he look good?
Oh, yeah. He had a solid enough debut. It was just that the disconnects in the team communication and how they're approaching things was the main issue, I'd say, which is why they couldn't win a fucking round with multiple ultimates to save their lives.
So if you extrapolate outwards, if Patman was their best player, then they should replace everybody.
Here we go.
Yeah, sure.
But I mean, I think Jing was probably their best player on this one, but it's
But yeah, he played well. I think that when I found out it was Mind Freak that was subbed out, I was very much scratching my head. It's not at all who I thought was going to be subbed, to be perfectly honest. I thought it was going to be Devi. And I felt like Patman coming in for Devi would have helped a lot of their role issues and the changing arounds that we saw. But they didn't do that.
Oh,
here we
Didn't
go.
do that at all.
Here we go.
Here it comes.
Big 1v1. Ooh. Ooh.
And I will say, I thought this before any of this happened. Like, obviously, I'm not trying to like rewrite and be like, oh yeah, I always thought that I was going to be the one that was going to get subbed out. Yeah, I don't know. It was really rough. Most of the players look like they just are completely lacking confidence. And you know, like we were saying with DFM, that's a tough thing to get back in a player. Like, you know, even if they are a team that has had such high highs of being, you know, finalists in 2 different internationals, one of them being fucking champions. If they're in a slump and they're struggling to regain confidence to where they could just take basic 1v1 duels, that's difficult to get them back in the right mental state.
Yeah.
Poor Mind Freak. He's getting benched. He's having to sit next to Alex, fucking crash out and go fucking crazy in some of these rounds. And then he's watching Devi do an Astra smokes whilst an Astra wall is up. Like,
Yeah,
Poor Mind
it
Freak.
must be hard. But I
The
do think
buy
having
down
someone
was really rough.
Yeah, the double buy. Yeah, it was like a little bit. It's a little bit rough. They didn't even need to force buy in this. Why are you buying again? He's just shouting. I'm just looking.
And
at
look
like,
at
oh,
Sliggy's elation on the back of this. He loves to see
Look at
Alex
mine.
suffering.
Stoic.
dude, I love
Don't
a
react.
coach cam, man. A coach cam and a being angry. I'm just like, thank God I'm not there anymore. Like, I'm so happy, man. Yeah, I don't know. I do have a bit of a question. Okay, so say that let's say it goes well. Okay, they get 4th, but then they probably go out in playoffs, right? Pretty early. What is to make champs? They would then have to come top 2 in stage 2, and they would then have like the 2 months kind of that we're talking about roughly from like now or at least a week ago. What are their chances of getting top 2 with 2 months of being able to solidly do it, and 3 teams in their region going to Toronto, and then obviously they get the head start on Sunset when Fracture goes on?
Can we say possible and leave it at that?
It's possible. I don't feel good about it. I just think the like if this was Americas and there was 5 shit teams, you know, like that you're better than, even if you're just okay, maybe that's one thing. But in Pacific, like everything's gonna be quite hard. And I think what you're seeing now as well is like PaperX can't just out aim these teams anymore, right? Certainly not with the confidence level they're at now, right? The other teams have a lot of players who are, you know, just as good as the PaperX players, and so they can't just rely on that to maybe bail them out that they would have done in 2024 or 2023 if they're having a bad game. I think it's unlikely. It's possible, and the thing is though, they need to like I you know, PaperX, when they were the most dangerous, it was always when they were having fun, right? If PaperX are laughing, you've lost. Like, you've literally just fucking lost. You've got no chance. But it just feels like the vibes, you can imagine how like bad the vibes probably are right now, and they need to like completely, unlike every other team, maybe other than like a couple, you know, pretty bad teams, they need to like completely rediscover, as we're talking about, the roles need to be fixed. They need to choose, they need to fucking just choose roles for the players. Just pick some fucking roles. To the start, we're midway through stage 1. Pick some roles.
You know what? I think you can make another. I think you can make another change as well. They have somebody else under the organization that I think they could bring in who's hungry to play, and I think would perform and has proven that he can perform in the past, and that's CGRS. So I'd say fuck it, go full crazy. Let's make another swap. Bring CGRS back in to just play your initiator role, and you know, like Sentinel Flex, and go ape shit. Because at this point, why not?
Yeah, I don't know that I'm quite on board with that level, but I see what you're cooking.
I think he'd play fine. I think the
vibe improvement might genuinely help them.
Exactly. He would be great for the vibes.
When you think about PaperX and when they have been great in the past, like the idea of them getting an advantage on Sunset or something by being able to play it early, the players had to be super comfortable in the roles that they were playing to be creative and to like visualize how they were going to be using their abilities to combo together to really come up with great ideas. And everybody just, are they really going to, like, are they going to be coming up with creative ways of running compositions when they don't even look comfortable with the basics of it at the moment? I don't think so. I think
CGRS, I think there's tens. He beat tens at Bangkok. Pick him up, get him back on the roster.
I think there's single-digit chances that this team makes an international.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes an internet. Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, because it's
as
top 2
like
now.
He says, it's so difficult. It's so difficult.
Yeah. They're so
when
far
you
behind
have
on
RRQ improving, Boom looking great, Gen.G improving, and then DRX T1 already exist. Talon picking up another win here today. Like, I think if they continue to develop, they're going to be in the conversation. So yeah, it just becomes more and more difficult. It should become easier, given that you open up to, instead of 2 teams, then it's 3, then it's 4. But there's just so many good teams that are already contending for the top 2 spots that when you expand it out, it still doesn't really make it much easier for PaperX.
All right, let's move on though. Talon came off a really bad loss last week to RRQ, which had Sliggy, you were in the mold machine, I believe.
Crashed out.
Yeah.
Crashed out big time, mad hard. And then they've come back with a win this week over Nongshim RedForce with a 2-1 victory. So has this rekindled your delight with this whimsical little Thai team?
The delight. They're just map dependent, I feel like, for them, because sometimes they look insane on maps, especially when I look at their fracture. I think they got one of the better fractures I've seen at the moment. Everyone looks really comfy on it. Still, I mean, the Waylay actually looked like it was like a hard counter to the Neon, really, and especially like on defense. It actually looked good on defense. Every time that Danby was sending it, you just saw what's this little slow thing called?
Saturate.
The saturate.
Saturate, yes.
Yeah, you'd see the saturate go down and kind of wreck him a little bit. So that looked kind of nice. I'm just glad we didn't see Ascent, to be honest. So that was like a plus. Although I would like to have seen like
praying for it to
you
come
were praying
through.
for it, dude. I wanted
Yeah,
to
and
see
then
like what improvement they would make.
I got the draft early and I was like, damn, all right.
It's not a thing. Yeah, it's not a thing. I don't know. I think they're just, but I think this is also expected with a team that changes to have like a pretty rough map pool and like see the focus of like them going, right, let's focus on like these three, get the others like a little bit rough, and then slowly get it better and better. I think, dude, I watch a lot of their stuff and I think it's good. I gave you a clip for Talon, and it kind of ties in well with like the Paper X clip that I showed earlier about the Teo ult. Like they have a lot of nice set strats. Everyone knows what they're doing in like certain rounds. It's like over towards Dish, they get the stun out, they have the camera to spot contact, and then the ult descends them forwards into the salvos and then into a 3-person hold. Like this is something that Paper X should have done, and it's like Talon are doing all of this stuff. And if they get the right maps, I think they can take pretty much anyone in the region, especially as T1's looking kind of dodgy on maps. But it's just about, can they get their map pool good enough, but like by the times of playoffs. And they still got like, what, 3 weeks, 2 weeks? So
yeah,
they
have always been that team though, right? Like they have kind of consistently been a team that is just like wildly variable in terms of who you're going to get. If you want to show round 7 and 8 Kurt from Fracture, this was very sad from Nongshim's perspective. I just thought the people need to see these rounds if they haven't already, because they're just quite sad. This is back to back. We can just go to the post plan if you want.
You're just trying to shit on Chobra.
Yeah, well, I mean, this game, because like it started off 8-0, I think, and some of the way that Nongshim lost some of these rounds was quite sad, really. And I was just laughing at Chobra, to be honest. I was singing songs about Nongshim get battered everywhere they go. Chobra gets battered everywhere he goes. Because so I mean, this one particularly is quite sad. You talk about ult usage, Leggy. This one, so the spike's going down.
Is this where they get a half?
Yeah. I mean, he's good by Cruz, right? So the spike's going down. They're against the tail, against salvos. And you're like, oh, you're in trouble here, 2v2. How are we gonna win this? Well, Cruz just fucking outplays them, and it's such a sad ending here for Nongshim, because he gets on it, missiles go, gets half, lives, gets out, and then comes back, and then you're getting ready to ult. We get on it, we ult, and he just gets it. He just gets it before the ult. I mean, oh my god. So, and then the next round, the very next round, it's 7-0, right? Like, it's already 7-0. Things aren't going well. The very fucking next round, they just stick it again. And I think it's Margaret doesn't, like, realize, I guess, or, like, doesn't quite, I don't know, like, perhaps think that he's going to stick it all the way through. It's just sad. And I didn't see Chobra's face during this. I did want to call him, like, right after this round. Just to check in on him, because this must have been a bit of a heartbreaker. But yeah, we're gonna end in a 1v1 in a second, and there you go. Here's some Waylay play, some Waylay value for you right there. And then you go 1v1. Primy knows where he is. Gonna sit the whole way, and Margaret like just walking.
Might have actually slightly been out of range. I'm not even sure if he heard it.
So Margaret, no, I think he hears it, but what he does is he throws a cage over towards the door to like create pressure that he's gone over towards the main, and that he'll get off and then he'll walk close. But Primy's just yeah, he just sticks.
It's just such a sad way to lose back-to-back rounds, and it's 8-0. Oh, that was rough.
But I like the improvement. I can see what they're working on. I think the new guys are good firepower. I think overall it is an upgrade for Talon. I have like more faith in this team long term than I did with Alva Talon.
The thing
To
that
focus
they
on
need
Nongshim
to
just for a moment, Seth.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Nongshim was one of the teams that we were really heavy on coming into this year. We were looking at them winning Ascension. We were like, this team has, I think they were on like a BO3 win streak or something heading in that lasted for a long, long time, 13 wins or something in a row heading into Tier 1. They're now 1-2. They ran only Neon in this series. We've had a lot of our ups and downs with like, should they be running the Waylay? Does that look good? Can they run other stuff? Does it look good? They get kind of battered here. What is the outlook for this team, especially when you're contrasting them with Boom, who we know that they were better than in Tier 2? What's the outlook for this team? They're probably not going to be missing out on playoffs, but they should be expecting more than that, I think.
The weirdest thing I think about them in this series was they were overall looking one-dimensional. Like the first map aside, where they crushed, which I believe was Talon's pick, I believe. It just looked like they were running out of ideas, and it was just like, we're just gonna do this again. It kind of felt like T1's Icebox today, where they were just like basically trying the same things, which was widely just Dambi go in with a Bucky and let's hope for the best. Just
the Ghost
over
of
and over
Governor
again.
won this game for Talon because he got flung in so many times. Do you think you can outfling Talon? They've ran this strat multiple times. There's multiple rounds of just Lotus, Neon Wall up, into door I go, fling myself, and the Talon player's just there like, okay, shoot, dead, okay, I guess.
Yeah.
Like there was so many rounds.
Kill one with a Bucky and then he would just die. And then they would just win the rest of the round.
Scrapbook, yeah, was just go into tree and fucking see what's there.
They go on.
No, I was just gonna say, like the thing about this is like, yes, that first map looked really, really good for Nongshim, but the other thing that is at this point anomalous, it's very bizarre. Talon in any of their victories in the last 200 days have not won a single opening map in any of their series. They always lose the first map. It's really, really weird. And I didn't know about this until earlier today when one of the journalists over here reported on this. They like, you could click on any of the wins, and it's at least maybe it's contained just the Pacific. I don't know about off-season stuff, but they pretty much just always will lose the opening map. So that's, yeah, I think it's VCT only then because of the off-season stuff. And it's just weird that they haven't been able to get any of these wins this season where they win the first map.
Though, Seth, that's what you're forgetting. They need They need the telling off before they can warm up.
But it's just weird because like I've seen it in other esports, like in Overwatch, Shanghai Dragons famously, like at the time, was a very good team, but they would always lose the opening map. But that's because they sucked at control.
Seth, you're confusing the crap out of people. You can't open up with Shanghai Dragons, who are a really good team, when the only thing people who don't know about, like if you don't know Overwatch, the only thing you know about Shanghai Dragons is they were famously an awful team.
Fair. But they would always lose the first map when they were in their good era, and then they would crush people 3-1. So it would always like get these 3-1 score lines, and it was like, oh yeah, that's just the way it is. But this is fucking Valorant. It's a very different game. You're constantly playing different maps as your opener, so I have no idea why Talon continues to do this.
I think we're not talking about a giant point as well, which is the Chobra curse. And if we gotta start looking into this a little bit, because the only game that they've won so far since Chobra joined was against RRQ, which obviously that's like 3 years of curse built up anyway. So RRQ's curse is more powerful, and they just can't get a win because of this guy. So that's definitely a
I think we need
issue.
to figure out how to bottle and weaponize and sell Chobra. we as like just merchants, like if you want to curse your opponent,
Chobra.
Yeah, weaponized.
It does sound kind of sick.
Chobra.
Yeah.
What would the distribution method be? Like, do you spray it at people? Do you feed Chobra to people? How do you weaponize Chobra?
It's like an aromatic. You put the sticks in and you let it fill the space. So you put it in the team room. You sneak it in. They just like, oh yeah, they put something in here to give it this nice smell.
I mean, they play Team Secret and Zeta, so it's going to get tested. The Chobra curse.
No,
the Chobra curse is going to get tested.
It's going to be really tested. I do think, if we're actually being serious though, the thing that I kind of like for them is they seem to have just gone, fuck it, let's get Danby back on Neon.
Yeah.
And I think that is a good approach because I think we're starting to see that Neon like can be, and I'm not saying meta, but can like win games. I just think that they need to get their strat book a little bit better, because if you do watch that Lotus and you're watching the attack, you are just like, mate,
They went.
he's just
And
running
they
with
were
a
out.
Bucky.
And I do
They
think
were
that
out of strats, so
that
early.
comp in
Yeah.
particular, the Lotus one though, like with the way that they play and Danby is just flinging in, why have we got an ISO in here instead of
Also,
something
yeah,
else
Ivy
that
is
can
not somebody
and
who should be on
Ivy's ISO was not like, you know, he's not a born natural ISO player, let's put it like that. And like it's just like, if you're just flinging Danby in, why not just play fucking Breach, you know, like just support him.
I think they had like a day with this comp, from what I can tell. Like that's what I'm putting
Yeah,
it
it did
down.
look like that,
I think it looked like the coaches they all went, okay, we're playing them Neon on every map. And they're like, well, yeah, but we got 5 days. And he's like, well, fuck it. We're playing today's Lotus. And then they've got like 4 strats. One of them's Danby gets a Bucky on the low buy and goes out. And then, but they were like adapting on the fly. There was like once where Danby went out, he got a kill and then he got traded and they could have ISO altered with the guns. And then they did it next round. So it's like they're kind of learning on the fly a little bit. I do think with time, it will
Because they're increasing their
a
time
lot
on the comp
better.
probably by
Exactly,
50%,
yeah,
as you say.
yeah, exactly. It's like 20% improvement because of it. So I think, just judging from how fast they were learning on the server, I actually think that this change might be good, but it might might cost them a little bit in stage 1.
Maybe you guys will know. Because I don't. There's like this tech with Neon where you're able to slide along the door as it's spinning, and it gives you like a speed boost.
Speed boost, yeah, accidental. I'm not sure if it's just Neon, but yeah, we saw it.
Yeah,
Do we see it in this game or?
It was apparently it happened in this game, but I didn't really notice it. I think Pilsky on the analyst desk called it out. It was either him or Big Time had talked about it, and I had no idea that it was actually a thing.
Is it the same mechanic as when you jet dash against a wall and it makes you go further?
Nah, it's like really you really descend it. Like
Yeah,
it's
you
not
gain,
like
like,
a little bit. It's giant.
Oh,
bunch
right.
of speed off the back of it or something like that. Because yeah, there was somebody asked about it earlier, and I was like, I have no idea about that, and I'm not sure if it's like considered an exploit or just a game feature.
No clue.
I don't know.
I mean, you don't know what round it was in, do you?
No, not off the top of my head.
Well, then we'll never know. It will remain a mystery, unsolved by Plat Chat. I think
That is
I'd like.
it's every agent. It's a door boost, but
Yeah,
I
it's
don't know
a-
if
it's a door-
that person could just be wrong. So I don't
Nah,
know
I
why
think-
I'm.
Could be.
That's what my chat was saying. So it's at least 2 people now. That's
All right, well, we're
pretty
getting
This is
2
the same
guys.
person.
That's a majority on the internet.
believable. That is everyone.
Let's move on to some predictions. We can talk about the upcoming potential for these matches. We've hinted at some of them so far. You can have a look at our community tab this week to vote on the Pacific Match of the Week. Last week's Pacific Match of the Week was PaperX versus Boom. And the report card indicates that 65% of you went for PaperX.
What's wrong?
I goofed
That's
up the
it.
numbers. It was correct. You guys picked Boom. I goofed up the numbers.
Oh, okay.
I see.
Okay,
So,
okay.
so the
Correct.
logos are just swapped.
Yeah, the logos are swapped. You guys are correct.
Oh,
My
Right.
bad.
So 65% of
I'm
you
proud
went
of the
for Boom and
community.
you were correct.
Not
I was gonna say, what kind of ass backward fucking quiz is this?
I think the community are PaperX Doomers at the moment. Even the PaperX
Yeah,
fans
they
are
are.
PaperX Doomers. Do you know what I mean? Like they're still supporting them. They just know that they're on a bad journey.
Yeah, it's like being an NRG fan or whatever.
Dude, I love how every time
2
on
of
the
them.
broadcast, there's any small just chance of flaming Americas. Killips is like, yep, fuck Americas. He's like, this happened on Americas, fuck them. He's
I'm
like,
ready. You know
"Jesus,
what?
man."
Fuck it. The passport, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna rip it. Fuck my citizenship. I don't care anymore.
You never miss an opportunity.
Fuck
it's
your
fun.
teams. Fuck that country.
Let's have a look at our first match of the week then. So first one is Nongshim RedForce playing against Team Secret.
Ooh, and honestly,
I was.
not crazy.
Why, though?
See, I remember when
I was a child,
I saw
remember seeing
Jesse Bash in a vision, beating Nongshim, eating noodles, and now I know what it means. No, I remember an hour ago, like just doing these picks, like almost just not even like just subconsciously just clicking things, and then at the end of it, like I click submit and being like, what the fuck? Some of my preds, I think, are gonna be fucking all over the place because I was just like focusing on other things. I was just like,
just in a fever dream, just in a haze.
Here's why Secret will win, though, right? I'll tell you what Secret gonna win. One, the Chobra curse. Well, we know that already, so
yeah,
fucking bring that on. Two, I think that this like Team Secret. I mean, Jesse actually had a decent game today. Like he had.
He had a
good game. Yeah,
he had a good game.
Hours ago, TMV.
Yeah.
Christ,
I'm out of it. Yeah, I'm out of it. But he had a good game, and I think that it's possible that Nongshim. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't trust. I don't trust them. I don't trust Chobra, and I think the Team Secret showed enough today to where it's like they could win a game. Like that. Like DFM looked like they're not gonna win a game, right? Team Secret, they looked good enough. I think to where it's like this is a team that will finish with one win. And so this is the win.
I think I would be worried if this was a guarantee. So I kind of like that you did this because I don't think this is as like one-sided as we think. Like it might even be like honestly, if you look at Team Secret today, it might even be like a 60. It might be a 60-40 is where I'm at.
Honestly, I think if Secret leaned into playing the ISO more and leaned into maps where they could pilot that, like. They're probably in a good spot. Like they could have just run like solo ISO. I think on that Lotus would have been much better than what they were trying to do with the Rays. I think they would have gotten an immense amount of value out of it comparatively. And if they had gone for it on Haven as well, I think that they would have been in a much better spot than they were. Because Jeremy looked very clean on Icebox and then very lost on the second half of Haven and then lost on the majority of Lotus.
Okay. Right. Fills you with confidence.
Yeah.
But his ISO was good.
Okay, so more of the ISO. Let's move on to the next game then. This one is our match of the week for this week. It's DRX playing against Boom, which is potentially for the top spot.
Oh, no.
That's a great picture.
That's the greatest photo of me ever taken.
That's one of our best ones.
Oh, fucking hell.
This is
nobody wanted to go for Boom.
That is pure unadulterated fucking misery in my face.
How were we 10-2 last week?
10-2 last week. That's
mad.
Oh,
yeah.
Cooking.
Got the FNATIC game wrong, and I forget the other one, but it'll come to me at some point.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to go for Boom, though.
Yeah, this one could go wrong, I suppose, because Boom are pretty good. But I do think that it's just about, I don't know, it's one of those games. It's like if MIBR would have beat G2. You know, that's what this game is essentially, right? Like,
okay,
we have some faith in a team, but we're maybe not quite sure if they're ready to like fully take that step. Because if Boom do win this game, it's like, oh shit, that they should be going to Masters. Yeah. It's like, like who's gonna stop you, right? And I guess this is just us feeling like maybe they aren't quite there yet. But like, I mean, if we get like the good or great version of DOS 9, and then the like the famous that we got as well, like it could happen. I wouldn't write him off at all.
I mean, famous is like Aspas if he wasn't a baiter. Like he's just so well rounded. He's perfect. This is sarcasm. I'm not Wyatt / Bren. You don't have to target me. Go Brazil. Go Aspas. Obrigado. No, they're really good. This is not a guarantee. I think that this can be very contentious. I just think that DRX will have a better strategic depth, and they have historically been very good at shutting down aggressive teams. So that's why I favor them here.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I liked. I was kind of going to base it on today in terms of how Estrella looked as well, coming in for Bane, and I was impressed. I think he looked really good. Yeah, he's always been a bit of a heavy fragger, so I think if anything, it just looks like a, I don't want to say instant upgrade, but it's at least on the same level now with higher potential. So I'm kind of more on board with this lineup now with Estrella, because I just think that he's always been good and he looks comfy in this team. And I think he has a point to prove because he
pounding
really
today.
wanted to. Yeah, he really wanted a team for a long time. So
Also,
Yeah.
Pacific try and stick to a 5-man roster challenge. Impossible.
Oh, they can't do it.
there's so
Seth,
many
what's your-
changes this year. Just across
What's
the
your
board.
take, Seth, on the DRX shift? Because I don't know whether, like, I feel like you were a bit of a Bane. I don't want to say apologist, because it's not like you needed to be an apologist for Bane, but you would frequently bring up the intangible benefits of having Bane on the roster.
Of having him as a vibe guy.
Yeah.
I think Estrella does bring similar vibes. Like, he is a pretty like happy-go-lucky guy, and I think that like he's able to vibe out and keep the energy up for the team. I was still kind of shocked when we found out about this, which was, I think we were told maybe like a couple days after we filmed the last episode. And I was like, oh, fucking hell, like, what are we doing? Like, why is this change happening? But he did look really, really good. I mostly just feel bad for Bane in this, because I think the team looks good. There wasn't really anything to critique from Estrella, so there wasn't a moment where you could be like, I see, Bane would have gotten that, or they wouldn't have dropped this map if Bane was in, because he's much better at this kind of thing. They just played really fucking well, and Estrella looked awesome. So I just feel bad for Bane because I think he's been playing really, really well. But whatever the circumstances are internally, I really don't know. This is one of those things where I'm not trying to like, where I know what the truth is. I actually have no clue what led to this. I don't even know what the real truth is behind like the whole like Estrella Gen.G rumors and that kind of shit. But clearly, like, DRX's scouting has always been very good. Estrella is somebody who they have known for a very long time. Given that he's just been around since the beginning of the game. He used to go by Gun Korea, because his first name is literally Gun in Korean. So he's been around the block for a long time, so they're very familiar with him. They've played against him a multitude of times, and they just felt like the time was right to pick him up, I guess.
Fair enough. All right, let's go on to our next game. This one could also be a Pacific match of the week, to be honest with you. Over on the other side of things, T1 play against RRQ. And this one is...
Oh, damn, dude.
Okay, dude, you for any audio listeners, RRQ, the only person to go for them, again, it's TMV, the same way that you were with Team Secret. Is this the subconscious rising up once more and you were just clicking buttons like a monkey in front of a typewriter?
Yes, this time I remember when I was a child and I pictured, I don't know, some mobile game or something, and it beat a South Korean telecom company. I don't know.
Strange visions that you had as a child.
Yeah.
Troubled
Really
childhood,
weird.
perhaps?
Really weird, dude.
Yeah. I just think I don't know. I just feel like T1 need to be punished for like how they're playing somewhat. Like every game, it's like you say, it's like their Icebox is shit. Like it. You pick Icebox, you probably can win Icebox against T1.
I think T1 probably banned it versus RQ.
Yeah, they might do.
I
But
think they should.
What are they normally banning? What does that leave open if they ban Icebox?
They change per team. I'm pretty sure.
okay.
They have 7 map pool at the moment. It's looking like
shit.
Well,
yeah, but it probably will be Icebox. Yeah.
But I think that like today, right? Buzz drops 30 on Lotus, right? And it's like, oh fuck, Team Secret, you ran into Buzz popping off today, and that's what T1 do, right? Like they'll take turns in terms of like, oh, this week it's Meteor week. Like I think the first week like Meteor popped off, right? Oh, this week it's Itsu week, or now it's Buzz week, and they're just like taking turns on who gets to slap a team around. I think that probably RRQ could have, like, if Gen.G in particular is having a good game, that they could have the firepower to stop that essentially, right, and not let T1 just kind of overtake them. And I think that, again, it kind of just comes down to like Team Secret, they're not an 0-5 team, they're a 1-4 team. T1 aren't playing like a 5-0 team, they're playing like a 4-1 team. That's who T1 are, and I just felt like, this could be, this makes sense to me as the game that maybe, because RRQ are that kind of team, I think, that can like randomly like turn up super good on a day and beat kind of
100%.
anyone.
No, they got really good maps.
Yeah.
Like
I would say
their
that this
Ascent
is good. I'd give this probably like 60-40, maybe a 65-35. in T1's favor. I think RQ has a very good shot, and I think that one of the big things they have going for them is probably their counter strat prep. I think that I assume that a lot of that is on Warbirds, just because he was quite good at it when he was with Secret. So I assume that that's just kind of like him kind of leading that charge, but he's very good at getting a download on like how enemy teams like to approach. It's a little bit tougher maybe for T1 because they do just say like, okay, fuck it, just a hero moment, and they win shit. Like Buzz's pistol win on Lotus in that second half. So sometimes you just get hit with stuff like that, but I think that he's gonna get the players very well prepped for just the overarching way that T1 likes to play.
Yeah, I think RQ pretty much have a map as well that they should win. Like their pick is either going to be Icebox or Ascent, depending on what gets banned. And I think their Ascent's really good. And I don't think at the moment T1's Icebox is good enough unless they like heavy prep it this week and get the Reyna looking good, or maybe change the Reyna for the ISO if they want to play how they're playing. So I think I like the punt on RQ, but I just need to save my pick'ems, man. I'm going for all the highest percentages. Just because, man, I'm in the pits, dude. I'm worse than the coin.
I mean, you literally said you should be guessing the opposite of what you think, and now you go in the opposite direction and going like even safer.
Yeah, man.
Well, no, it's fine because he's picking alongside me, so he's good.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I copied the homework. Yeah, I just didn't want to tell anyone.
Yeah,
like I wouldn't be surprised if of these two games that I picked on my own, I'm going 1-1. We're all going 1-1 on these two games that I've picked.
That's possible.
I feel good about it.
Yeah, I think one of them go through.
Yeah. Well, we've still got 3 more games to predict, though, so you might have still gone off the deep end.
Have I gone off the goop on them? I don't remember going off the goop on them.
You might have.
And that means that you probably have.
Again, you let your unconscious take control, I think. Gen.G versus Global Esports is the next game that we're going to predict.
Surely, TMD.
I didn't try. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, Sliggy, you were really high up on Global a couple of weeks ago after their game right before Boom, I think it was.
Yeah, I don't know what that guy was talking about, man.
We played DFM and we didn't know DFM was that bad at that point.
Yeah, I think that's what it was as well. And they did look genuinely like pretty good. Yeah, good. And now, like even the stuff I was praising them before, like even their micro stuff is like slightly not great. And it just looks like they're kind of spread too thin at the moment, and I don't know, it feels like there's a fire over there, and Elevated's having to do so much.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, that is accurate. People being weird on the internet.
I hope that this is a curse, honestly, just because I want the guys at GE to get a win. I think that it would be awesome for them to do it. You know, sorry, Paper X, I suppose, because this in part helps fuck over your playoff chances. But like, I feel for him, man, because it's just been like blow after blow. It's just a really unlucky string of events for the org year over the year, it feels like. And I would love to see them be able to do well in the face of adversity, but because of said adversity, I think that Gen.G will win. So I will be quietly rooting for GE to come up and get the surprise victory, but I just don't know if it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to be enough time for them to get the turnaround.
Also, I think this is a confidence growing in Gen.G.
Yeah.
Gen.G look good, and
Munchkin's calling is clean again. Like it's back on point.
I think that's a part of it.
Let's have a look at our next game. I feel like this one's another smile for the camera, to be honest with you. Talon versus Zeta Division.
Did I?
Maybe.
No. No. Okay. I couldn't even remember.
You did not.
I did not.
Do you think this one would have been one where you?
I think you could take a punt on Zeta here. I don't think it's insane. Because as we were kind of saying earlier, they maybe showed something. They have maybe like a pulse. They're not completely lost. And like, you know, Talon, maybe you'll just get the fucking shit version of Talon, and then like anyone might be able to beat them. You never know.
They have a pulse. That's not what you want to hear about your team, is it?
Yeah, it's pretty rough if that's the only thing you can say.
Yeah, they're as good as another warm body that you throw up there on the stage.
I mean, they're looking like it makes sense with a lot of the stuff they do, but I just think individually Talon should be sort of fine. Even if they get a bad map, like I can see Zeta like just taking a close map that like Talon's not good at, but mate, to do that on 2 maps, I just don't think it's a thing.
I think the way that Zeta wins this is they have to come out, crush in the first map, because Talon always loses the first map, but they have to like embarrass them, like to the nth degree.
Are you sure you want to do that?
Yes. Because they need to tilt them, I think, is the way that they need to win this. They need to embarrass and tilt the shit out of them. And that's how you get, because I think a lot of the Talon players are still very young, and I think Primi in particular, if he gets on tilt, he starts baiting. He starts making selfish decisions, and the team suffers for it. And I think that if Zeta could pull that off, then they can win it. But I think a lot of it has to be on Depp, which also I would say Depp versus like Depp can absolutely hold his own. I think he could best Primi.
I also don't think that this is a humiliation king team anymore, TMV. You know? I think now that Frost doesn't. Yeah, I think those days have
now that Cruz is
gone.
having to translate the humiliation, it doesn't quite
exactly.
Have the same.
I don't. It can't be the same. It can't hit the same.
Yeah,
like
the other four players are just listening to Frost yell,
and go down the line,
and they're just like, "What the fuck is this guy on about?"
There is
calmly explains what he said.
There is a weird disconnect in this team at the moment, though. Did any of you watch the Spike talk thing where Frost was kind of talking about? I can't remember what his exact quote was. It's just like, if I knew they were gonna play this comp, I would have given them a game plan. And it's like, what?
No, I think
he said he should be the first person hearing about something to do with their game plan, but that he hadn't heard about it.
He told them to play double senti, and they wanted to just fight.
Oh,
and he was like, lads, I'm fine if you just want to fight, but then I should have given you a different comp. So, like, you just have to tell me if you just want to brawl these fuckers, and that's fine. I'll just give you a comp that works for that.
Okay. But it feels like, again, I don't know the ins and outs, and obviously there's like a language barrier, but is that not something that should be planned maybe even days before?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
But probably. I think that's probably his point, isn't it? Is like, there's a lot of comms issues on that team, and he probably just didn't quite get on the same page as the players as what the hell they actually wanted to do. I mean,
also, it's possible if they do scrim multiple comps all the time. Like, it's possible they're doing a scrim with a fucking double duelist comp, sending it, and then just think, well, that's just how we play a Sent. And then they turn up with a double Senti comp. It's like, well, this is how we played a Sent before.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just a bit of a worry, I guess, when I had that. I find that weird from a coaching POV.
Yeah, it is strange. I mean, but that's why I'm saying I don't think they're a humiliation king team anymore. I think that Frost was previously like vice grip on the team, and now it feels like it's almost impossible for him to operate in that way. Just judging again, just by like how he tells stories of his time inside the team, it feels like it's him trying to put them in supported positions now, and the players have way more control over what's going on. Yeah. Let's go into the next game, though. The final game that we're going to be predicting today. DFM versus Paper Rex.
This is the true test of the curse right here.
Damn, guys. But I think this is okay, right?
Is it okay? Is it?
It's not okay.
It's okay.
It's not okay, dude.
For us to guarantee Paper Rex, who have been playing... They are 0-3 in this stage, and we have guaranteed them just because the other team is too shite to predict.
Yep.
I have my concerns, man. Like, my brain is saying, yes, this should be fine. Paper X had a lot more promise. They had some game plans. DFM looked really disconnected, and DFM was losing more duels than like Paper X was by comparison. Their round differential is in the absolute shitter. Paper X should be able to get this. But also, Paper X did get 13-1 by this team. This could be hanging over their fucking head. And here's my terrified like Paper X fear headcanon that's going on, is that Art looked so depressed after their most recent loss because he's just worried, and he knows that everyone thinks that the team is so shit, but they haven't realized that all they've been doing is preparing to defeat Paper X 13-1 once again, and that they will think that DFM is a bad team, but it's really just because they've only been focusing on this one singular matchup.
See, I feel like they get better every week. I feel okay. But I kind of say this every week. They go for paper X.
Yeah, and then they lose.
I'm just so deep in the hole now that I can't even see any light. So
How many times have you predicted Paper X this year?
every single time, I think, no matter who they play.
4 for 4.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh,
It's going
God.
great.
Yeah, it's going honestly. Probably
Why
a big
change now?
reason. Yeah, probably a big reason why the Pacific pick'ems are in the bin. But eventually, it has to stop, right?
Yeah,
What's
that's
the,
definitely how
uh,
it works.
What's the...
You fucking pull that slot machine. Keep it going.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like-
like-
if they don't win
I
against
used
the
this.
FM,
I
and you
used this
pred them
analogy
next
last
week,
week.
I mean,
I'll play
that
them
is-
next week.
wow.
No matter the result.
Dude,
Oh,
so he's
I
this
reckon.
close to striking diamonds.
Play global. They play
Global? Oh, let's see a global play. But probably. Dude, you can do
Sliggy
a lot in
looking
a
at-
week.
Sliggy looking across at the rest of us like, first time, eh? First time.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, Christ. All
Why
right,
is this
well, that's
not
it.
this should be game of the week, surely.
Game of the week.
Paper X DFM.
the pooper bowl.
Okay, that's all I,
mean,
wanted.
this-
Let's go.
Oh,
This is a funny one. I mean, you've got to tune in for this game. You have to. The comedy
Oh, it's
value
gonna be
is
a
just too
banger.
high. It's way too high. All right, that does it for our Pacific segment, though. Thank you, Achilles, for joining us. We're gonna swap you out with Shio, and we're gonna be talking EMEA. You have any shade you want to throw towards EMEA, Achilles, or is it all just directed at Americas now?
they're all shit.
Oh, that's creative. Bars.
Brilliant.
Sending on a high.
I don't know.
Creative high for Plat Chat.
Find some personality and stop having to lean on FNATIC being the best team of the region. Fucking Vitality sucked at Bangkok, and you guys are gonna keep sucking at every event after that. You're gonna get to Paris. You're not gonna have any French teams there. You're gonna choke on home soil. You know, just quick. You don't even have to take a flight home. Just get on the fucking train. Show your passport. You're back in Berlin. Fuck it.
Lovely.
Yeah.
That
Actually, don't
wasn't
need
so
the
much.
passport. Schengen means you can.
Foot's
Right,
all right.
right.
I actually wouldn't. If Foot
Yeah.
ends up being the #1 team, I think that'd be the most interesting thing that could happen for the region.
Yeah, could be actually.
You want to
That'd
see
be sick.
you want to see Fnatic struggle, don't you? You want them in the Paper Rex arc to build a bit of character.
Yeah, get crazy, get loose.
It's
I'm
too
glad that they're
late,
doing
though.
well
They're
and not
actually
having to
back-
lean
yeah,
on
they're-
Leo
we're
anymore.
back
That's a
up.
positive.
Mm. You
Got
feel
hard
very
carried for
bitter
too
and
long by that
jaded
guy.
here. Very, very.
Hey, yeah,
bitter,
you've won
jaded
two.
man.
You've won 2 tournaments now. Like this was fine when Pacific hadn't won a tournament.
Well, I
Now
don't know.
you-
Josh, Sideshow
Now
just
you're
said to
punching
talk some
down.
shit. So I'm just inventing things. Like I don't fucking know.
All right.
I
Well,
don't really
see you in a
care.
bit. We'll go to
Goodbye.
Do you guys want to go
We'll
to
go to
a
a
break,
short
or
break.
do you want to just swap in? What
Is Shio here?
Yeah, Shio is
Yeah,
here and ready to go.
Yeah, let's
just
send
go.
it. I reckon.
Send it.
Yeah.
Let's send it.
All right, Shio, we'll warp you in a second here. There we go. Bye, Achilles.
Slorp. There he
Yo,
is.
what is up? Hello.
Yo.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
What was that?
All
guy
right,
talking-
let-
Why am I so much taller than everyone too? That's crazy. Posture check, first of all. Everyone, let's go.
Oh,
Get
what
up
the
in there.
hell?
All right.
I'm slumping back down though.
Yeah,
I feel better. I feel better in the bottom third of my camera frame today for some reason. Right, if I just get down like this.
You look like the weirdest, like, what is it, a lowland diglet? Like, or whatever the.
Yeah,
the wiglet? Oh my god.
Yep, that's valid. Let's start with talking about Liquid BBL. What was our game of the week? I feel like that one might have been the game of the week, was it? Oh no, of course it would have been Vitality FNATIC. Vitality FNATIC.
And it really was, yeah.
Yeah, that one was ridiculous. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a sec. But yeah, Liquid BBL, 2 teams that were very close to each other during kickoff for a while. Like it looked like BBL were actually on a better trajectory than Liquid up until, you know, Liquid made it all the way to the Masters event. And then this one, pretty back and forth series actually. I mean, map 2 and map 3 with exactly opposite score lines. Bit of a strange match.
Is dude, I like this one because I was focusing like a little bit on like Liquid. I think the coaches get a bit of praise for me personally. I feel like every time I watch Liquid, they have good pistols. They have good, like, if they lose, like second rounds. If they win, they always have a good bonus. So I feel like their prep every single time is like really good, especially when they know what map's gonna get picked. Like if you want to play the pistol, you can go like fast 20 seconds in. There's like that really cool trap play with the fracture. Sorry, the just first pistol.
Yeah,
the little vice wall trap them in when they go for the plant with the salvos. Like I look forward to the Liquid games these days because I know that the coaching stuff is like working hard, and I like seeing improvement because I think the map was pretty rough at the moment. So I think like they have to be someone that you visually see an improvement from. But I think both of these teams have a rough map pool when I look at them.
Well, Haven looked terrible from Liquid. I think that's just a...
Yeah.
I fucking hate that comp so much. I hate
the bin.
fucking...
The neon ISO?
I don't like it. I just don't
I
like
don't...
it.
Yeah, I'm not big on it.
I just think you've just gone for a downgrade. I just think
it does seem just strictly worse than the Yoru. I was trying to wonder, I mean, why do people run the neon? I'm not even really sure what the theory of it is.
Is it like the week 3 blues of like you're learning all these new comps, but there's certain people that still want to like stick on their comfort agent? I feel like it's happening in NA as well, where like we're halfway between like having the good synergistic comps where like Yoru can search for an ISO ult, but like, you know, Camel just wants to stick on neon for like the last week before we switch over in practice.
I think it can make hitting some of the sites a little bit easier. I think it does. I think it does like a couple of things that the Yoru doesn't do. To be honest, I think it's better at like actually holding on to A if you're on defense, because I think the stun's pretty good and you can always go close. You'll see like 100 Thieves do that a lot. I think your C hit gets a little bit stronger. But I think your neon needs to be a lunatic. Like I always say this when I'm watching it. Like your neon has to just absolutely send it and make space.
I just think you lose so much on the defense side. I think the defense side woes are enormous with that composition.
But I think your retake's better because
I feel
of
like
the
breach is
wall
just better
sending
with that with neon. Like on Haven, we saw it with Sen. It was like really dope stuff. Fast lane gets like even better with like flashes right next to it before it drops. Like it's just even on defense they have flash dash like on C long and stuff. It's so much better than
it's absolutely horrible playing set retakes with this composition though. I think you should be flooding every time, and you can't flood very well with it.
Yeah, you're kind of relying on the wall. You kind of like you're relying on like the wall to split up and then going in. But if they play aggro close, you're kind of wrecked. It does have some nice stuff, but I think once the kind of strap book gets solved, then you're a little bit wrecked. I think it's good to like 100 again. I think 100 Thieves kind of play the best we've seen out of any team at the moment. They have like a good punish over towards C and stuff. But I do think that Liquid. Because they'd shown their Teo comp so much, I think that they're still in the process of like changing this. And again, I think that they have a lot on their plate. So I still think that they banned Pearl. We haven't seen their Lotus since it looked a little bit rough. And then they were obviously changing Haven here as well. And then when they had Ascent that was thrown in. So I think they've got a lot on their plate at the moment. But I think I'm kind of confident with the work they put in. That Ascent game was... I think TMV, you have a lot to say about that Ascent game. But,
I mean, yeah, from the Team Liquid perspective, fine. Nice little game. BBL. I mean, I've put in the show notes, and you can just have this where it's like, just play round 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like in a row. Like just this one to start off with, the Yampy ult here. So they've done a B tiles crunch, right? And your player has died to that, right? So you know that no one is here. You're ulted and Teo droned, and if you just go back, Kurt, like you're Teo ulting a heaven, right? So there's a tiles crunch. You know that that's there because your player has just died to it. Okay, so we know that that's there. Okay, great. Well, you're ulting an A. Okay, that's fine. In goes Yoru. In goes a Teo drone. Right? Oh, anyone in hell? Anyone side? No. Oh, Yoru's in heaven. Anyone go on the map, Kurt? Why are we tail ulting heaven and hell when we know there's been a tiles crunch on the other side of the map, and our Yoru can see he's not in heaven, and we know that hell is clear? We've just wasted an ult. And this is great by Nats. Like it's like this is the thing, right? Like Liquid also played well, and Nats in particular fucking fried. Like he was crazy. Like and he's done this on Ascent before on Cypher, where it's like, fuck me. Why doesn't everyone just do that? But it's Nats, and not everyone can. But BBL. I mean, I said like the phrase that came to mind for me, like when I was watching this, they are on autopilot. Like they have run these things well, I mean, maybe not even in a fucking scrim the way some of it looks. They have run this, they have seen it on Valoplant and gone through it like in server time and seen what it's done. And then they just do that. And they don't think about like that there is another team playing the game. And so they just end up. Is this the Magnum one where he just ends up walking? I mean, this is autopilot.
Sure.
You can't say this isn't a player on autopilot. It's 1:20 on the clock, and we're walking solo with no smokes, no util on our own. We're just on complete autopilot. It was so like, oh my fucking god. And considering the BBL had just come off like a 13-4 destruction on the previous map, you'd think that they'd be, right in it, feeling confident. We just fucking battered them. We're gonna win this game. This is a big game in terms of like playoffs, right? These two teams, this group is pretty close. It's an important game. And then we fucking drop this. And I know you're playing against Double Sentinel, and it's hard to attack against Double Sentinel, but they're playing Triple Initiator Yoru. Like, if you're gonna have the util to beat it, you would think that they fucking, like, maybe got the comp to do that, right? And, oh my god, it was...
I don't know, I feel like this is a nightmare scenario for BBL.
Yeah.
Some of the rounds that I'm watching look very similar to other teams when they play against this comp, where you run out of ideas and then you're lost. And you just kind of
we lost 20 seconds into the round because our KO was fucking walking into short with no util. That's not like other teams. That's not an idea. It's not an idea, that. That's just fucking shit.
Magnum's walking up cat, though, and I think he's assuming that because he's playing against a double Senti comp, they're just kind of sat there with some Senti util that he can walk up and break on. He's got a vision in his head of what he thinks the defensive setup looks like, and it's totally different. And I think people don't realize, because they haven't played with the comp, that this has like 20 different ways that you can set up the defense. And sometimes it's going to be playing aggro B main, sometimes it's going to be playing aggro A main, sometimes it's going to be mid crunching, sometimes it's going to be sitting passive. Like, when you attack IGL against that, you're like, how the fuck do I know what defense setup they're going to run? How the hell am I supposed to build a game plan around it? And why the dick are we running triple initiator in the first place?
I looked at this and I thought similar to the C9 game, where I was just like, there's so much thought process on the defense setups that no matter who they play, they'll win. Like it's the first time you play this and the first time you're like finding out their setups, you're just done for, because it has way too much thought behind it. So I was more impressed with Liquid. I didn't like the BBL comp, obviously, but I kind of gave BBL some slack because I'm just like, Liquid look good with what they're doing.
When I was co-streaming this game, I don't think I talked about BBL once. I was just like, nah, well, let's just focus on what Team Liquid are doing. That's great. BBL are essentially, they could be fucking anybody in this game. They could be anyone.
That's what I mean.
It doesn't matter. They are just warm bodies ready for Liquid to harm.
No, yes, they are warm. They are just warm bodies because there's no thought.
It's right on both sides. Like, there's two solutions to the double send comp that I've seen so far. One's like the Yoru Fade Omen thing, where like you skip all the utility, Nightfall, double TP on site, or just like do it sometimes with C's if you try to find the anchor. The other thing is like unique comps like this, where you have triple initiator. You have 7 answers to find information. Like, yes, you can't know what the setup's like, but I think it's abhorrent for KO or anyone in general to be walking cat. We saw Prowlers. You have a drone, you have Yoru clone, KO has his flashes still, we can wait for knife for 5 seconds. Like, this is the one comp where you can creatively do something. The thing is, though, you're right, Josh, like Yampy has like the mental stack of the Burj Khalifa on his head playing this thing. Like, it's insane. And he's already a shooter anyways, as an IGL, in my opinion. Like, he's really good when things start to get chaotic. This guy has to micromanage like 20 people. These guys send drone, knife, clone, and 7 like initiator just utils. Like, they're playing like 5 toddlers with a Jenga set for the first time through a main. Like, no one follows the util. They say, let's run cat. That's like the last 5 rounds over and over again. The leftover util they have is on Fade in a main, both Prowlers and Haunt available, holding. Like, you have a triple initiator setup. You use all your util. The way you're going, where you need more initiator util, is the initiator is not there. They're playing Cypher, like, on the other side of the map, which doesn't make any sense. The other thing, too, is Profec is so good. This guy could be like Kiko levels of impact from, like, a controller role, and they have him on Astra on every single map, like hacking the servers while his team is fighting, like, on site. Like, it's so annoying to watch the Fracture and him so late into some of these duels when he's so good at what he does. It's Astra every single map as well. I didn't like the Astra on Fracture anyways. I feel like the smokes dissipate way too fast. Like, yes, you have some post-plant utility, but we're playing for post-plant when we can't even get on site half the time. Anyways,
yeah, I think the Astra Fracture is terrible. I hated watching BBL play against Karmine Corp, I think it was, where both teams were running the Astra, and they can only smoke 2 out of 3 spots sometimes when they're. Oh my god! And then, yeah, like you're saying, the smokes dissipate so fast on a map where you just want things to be smoked perma.
Yeah.
It's
You're forcing this guy to
yeah,
play
it's
160
brutal.
ping, like with packet loss, basically, because every 10 seconds he has to meditate and figure out where the stars are, and then fucking go with his team. Like, it's just interruption on like probably your second best aimer on the team. It's crazy. It's actually crazy. Like, it is so counterintuitive. And yeah, my first voice lost moment of the co-stream was the Ascent map, because like, again, I was looking at BBL specifically because I wanted like to see a team really break like the double Sentinel comp without like TPing over it. Essentially, they had the tools. And it was just like, you know, Chris was saying, it's just crazy, just like autopilot moments, like not using the comp moments. Fracture 2, I feel like BBL were still playing well. We just had like the classic Team Liquid flip rounds, like on random eco moments. Patatex, like Deagle Clutch was so sick, I think like round 3. It was nuts. It was actually nuts.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
See,
no, but there's some of the rounds. It's just like I know what you mean, right? Like if you can get to like 4, you've done well, right? You've done well. If you can get to 4, like you can win the game. But the problem, like, so how do you get to 4? Well, you use your ults well. Well, instead of using our ults well, we're fucking wasting a tail ult. We're doing a fucking random KO fake, and then Yampy peeks into spawn on his own. We're fucking, just fucking use a Euro ult, take the side. Like that round 10 that I think it was round 10 or 11, Kurt, that you showed, where they actually get close to winning a round. It's just because they finally fucking thought, why don't we just Euro ult A and just go there with our Euro? And if someone's there, we'll fuck them with all the initiator utility. No one was there. But like it took them 11 rounds to fucking figure that out. Like, I get it, you're not going to win like 8 rounds, but you can win 3 or 4 and have a chance in the game, but you didn't because you're just, I don't know, autopilot.
That is true though. They also did like, they had that one round pretty early on where they used their ults into an eco, which is really common this year. I feel like I've seen that loads this year in comparison to maybe last year. Like, and it's not even just like strict rule of just like if you have like the advantage, like a lot of the times it's like even or they're like far behind, they'll use ults. But they had a round where they were like eco, they used 2 ults, and I was just like, it's so done. Like it's so done after that. You can just tell they're just so desperate for that one round. And yeah, I don't know, the full process is rough. But I think again, I kind of agree that it's just very overwhelming when you come against a double Sentinel comp and you have to start on attack.
You do actually have to play the double Senti comp well though. It's a kind of composition where you need.
Oh yeah, we get to that. There's a team that didn't play it well in this week. So
Sliggy's well versed with teams that haven't played it well.
This is the thing, we see both sides of it, right?
Yeah. Let's move on to talk about the next series though. I think Florescent ended up finishing this week as the #1 rated player. Saw that pop up somewhere. But unfortunately wasn't enough to get Apeks across the line in a win against NAVI. It looked like it was going to be, but NAVI kind of pulled back in maps 2 and 3 to be able to steal the victory back towards themselves with a very close Haven performance too. But I think it's inspired a bit more confidence that Apeks is really going to be able to do something with Governor now in the team. Rather than just being like at kickoff, it felt like a guaranteed bottom feeder team.
The problem is though, like Navi on world beaters. Like if they were gonna like okay, if you look at their schedule, like they're not gonna beat FNATIC and Vitality. They might beat Giants in the last week. Like maybe they can win that game. I think it gives you hope that like you're right, like they can win maps, right? They're not like completely awful, right? They will give you a game. They have some nice ideas. They have, you know, if Floor particularly is having a good game, like, you know, you're definitely gonna need to scrap and you know, play decently. Like they're not a free win, but this gave me a little bit of sadness because I was like, this is the game like you can win and then really build on from here, right? Like particularly when it's close on Haven, I'm like, this is like, you know, you've got this. Map 1, you've won. It's close in map 2. You're so close to winning it, like. And then on map 3, it kind of felt like, you know, we kind of ran out of steam, and it just like, I don't know, like the problem for me is that I'm thinking it's actually fairly likely that they don't win a game this entire split, and then what do they do, right? Because you're an Ascension team, you need to do well. So then do you hit the panic button and say like, you know, we need to make changes because we have to try and make champs or at least make playoffs, right? Like, and then maybe you make the team worse and, you know, I don't know. I really wanted them to win this game. I was kind of rooting for them heavy, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean they had to win the second map from what we saw. Obviously, we saw some crazy. I still think that this the ace from floor, it might actually be the best ace in Valorant.
Yeah.
It might be the best.
It's this
ace.
round, isn't it?
The third op shot is like the most disgusting thing. It's like some simple level shit. Like it's actually so sick.
Yeah, the third and the fourth shot of it is just absolute insanity. So when I look at Apeks, I kind of think that it's more about stage 2 getting to playoffs, and I think week by week they are improving. Oh yeah, this is it, dude. This shot, absolutely nuts, absolutely nuts.
You look at it in the replay, and it's like it shouldn't even go through the metal. I don't understand how it does.
Oof, dude, look at it. And then the next shot is sick, by the way. The next shot's really underrated. This is hard to hit. Like, also it's smart, right? TP across, and then so you could be over towards the right, and then you flash for your teammate, and then obviously you've done the fake TP, so you could have crossed, and so you might be coming out of spawn, so it makes them both go round. And then obviously they don't see it until the flash goes off the wall. But this shot as well, that's an underrated shot. I'm telling you, that's a banger of a shot. It's up there. It's really up there. At least ace of the year so far, and I think this is gonna be hard to beat, to be honest. But yeah, in terms of like, this one,
that's the nastiest shot. I swear to God.
Oh dear.
But they are essentially like a monster truck, right? Like they got the one little guy just up top with 4 wheels, kind of just driving her around like everywhere, trying to make sure that she smashes the other team. But all cars have fuel. That's the issue, right? Like TMV's alluding to it, right? They ran out of gas. Like I think NAVI just started a slow default at the start of like all the Haven rounds, and you can see the panic sometimes in like Apeks just trying to get floor in the right spot. Like even on Neon or Yoru, it's just so hard. You have the best util to run around the map and be where you need to be in the running, in the panic. If you have a little bit of mechanical like mishaps, if floor can't get the 3K, it's like Apeks are a little bit behind just on the macro level and just attempting at retakes on some of these sites. But then Split, it was like the most relevant, where like they just stayed silent for a lot of the time. Hit a site, 50-50 floor's not there, or she is and she misses, because like it's 1v6. At some point you get used to the raid boss, right? Even in your plat lobbies, like the boys kind of mangle together and stop the Reyna from getting a 4K at some point. And then if that's Apeks' strategy going into VCT, yeah, something needs to change. I don't know if it's even a roster switch, but it's like something needs to change there.
See, I think I would be okay roster wise. So I think if you have a realistic goal at stage 2 playoffs, and I think from what we've seen, it's doable. It's not like that's. I think after watching them play, I have way more hopes than I did at the beginning of the year, especially with Avova showing like big glimpses of looking great. And I think Governor, obviously fresh in, he's doing a lot. But I think his like vibes look great as well. So I think if their main focus is on stage 2, I think they can give it a good run. Again, I'm not saying they're going to go champs. I'm not saying anything crazy, but I think just making playoffs, if they get a nice group, I think this is really doable if they keep working hard. I don't know how you lot feel, but
yeah,
I think it's possible. But I just struggle with like, if you're going to make stage 2 playoffs, like NAVI, you're going to have to beat NAVI. Like that's a team that you've got to finish above.
Sure.
Which yeah, maybe they can, right? They did win a map, and the map 2 was close, so like they could beat them. But like in stage 2, like if they got this kind of game in stage 2, like they have to win this game. Like this is like must win, and you know, I'm just worried that whilst they might improve, you know, everyone else might improve as well. We're gonna have a slightly different map pool then. You know, we'll see how that goes. Maybe the meta's a bit different if Teo gets nerfed by then as well. So like yeah, we'll see. Hopefully they can adapt.
But you must have more hope than you did at the beginning of the year.
I thought this team's fucking on no chance coming in early. Yeah, but now I think like they have a chance for sure.
How must it feel? I was thinking about this week, to be Soulcas, who I think made the decision to leave, like of himself, to leave Apeks and go over to Movistar Koi, and has taken a downgrade somehow, which is like the hardest thing to do in tier 1. How has he managed it?
I mean, he had the same expectations as us, I think, where he thought it was an upgrade on paper.
I know, but it's brutal, isn't it? I'm not saying that he made like a stupid choice or something, but he's actually gone to a team that looks like weirdly, it has. I don't know if they're in a Mostak group or what, but it looks like they have less chance than Apeks. They got flattened this week. I actually thought Koi might do like something in this group.
I mean, I thought they were going to win this after watching K-Corp last week, but I thought K-Corp actually had a big improvement. But yeah, I don't know, dude. I watched Koi and I'm just like, I go in having a lot of belief, and then it just feels incredibly flat. Like, look at this as a start. This is their map pick, by the way. This is their map pick, man. It's the biggest demoralizer you can imagine.
Yeah.
Can you show round 14 of Icebox? Because Sliggy was talking about whether Floor's ace was the best ace of all time. Sideshow, I want to ask you this question. If I put you where Shados is in this clip, could you get this ace? Could you do this against Karmine Corp? Against Karmine Corp, could you get this ace? Because I think I'm on now the search. By the way, if any, please send me like clips. Make it tier 1, ideally. Of I want to see what the worst ace we can find is. Not the best. I want to see the worst ace, because I think that this is an early.
Oh, is this a long range mid?
This is an early contender. Sideshow, do you think you could get this ace? Let's see. It's gonna be Shados, and Shados hits an ace. Like, you know, I'm not denigrating Shados. He hits the ace, but I'm just saying.
I haven't ever aced. Oh. I mean, not in a pro game, obviously, but you know, like
let's just see it. That's a good one.
Oh, these are good kills. These are good kills.
Cause like, yeah. Do you think you could hit that?
I'll be honest with you. I think I'm peaking that. Come into my team. Oh, 5 of them are in mid, and then not facing
running away.
Tucking in.
Yeah. I don't think I'm ever getting that ace because I'm just not fighting it.
Also,
I'm playing like a coward there.
I don't know what your micro movement's like, but he's doing a lot of sidestep and crouches. Like they are missing because he's moving quite a lot.
I'd say my micro movements are more sit in the exact same position while holding crouch.
Okay, yeah.
And spray, yeah.
Then honestly, you might get 2, I reckon.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
That's not bad.
I mean, the Icebox game was not a complete flattening, though.
No, but like the thing with Icebox is I'm very confused as to why they're running ISO the way Filo was playing it some of these rounds. Like, I feel like if he had like a dash back agent, it'd be better. He was like pushing up A main on a lot of these like defensive rounds and just getting bopped. Like Martin was TPing over him at some points and then turning around like, oh, free Filo, and then like just moving on with his day. Like it happened multiple times. Martin also looked really good on Omen specifically, playing it like Jet almost with 2 dashes. Like it was crazy that TPing his own smokes on 410 and then into back sight like he's Mako on C site Lotus. Like it was a good showing from him, but Filo a lot of the times just felt like wanted to do something to save the team even when it was so close. But on ISO, way far up, no shield popped. You're better with like playing Yoru or even Waylay if you can get back in time.
Yeah. I did like their A pathing though, where they go like left side of A site, they right click the wall, and then they can clear Jenny and all of like the main site. Like I thought the full processor of the ISO was kind of cool, but I do think there is multiple rounds where it's like, you know, you're going to be swinging into people, you need to be popping your shield here.
Yeah.
Like earlier, there's definitely a lot they can do in terms of like helping them out of getting info to pop the shield. I think there's a lot of improvement, but I just feel like the actual exec over towards A, I've that had like some good full process. I don't think it works after teams have seen it, to be honest. So it's kind of rough that they didn't win this one, but yeah, I didn't mind the ISO so much. I think they can probably focus on maybe getting more orbs as well. So I wasn't too worried about their Icebox, but again, I do think that they can they can definitely help Filo out a little bit more of just like, now you pop the shield, now we go, because there's loads of times where he died with it or it just wasn't used well.
How you feel about Karmine Corp though?
I'm a big Harbor hater, but this Lotus was pretty nice, no? Did you see a lot? Like, I get what they're doing. They're rolling back the old, we wall off an area and then we vice flash to see if it's clear. And like that over towards B on Lotus is actually really strong, where they would like wall all 3 of the B choke points and then they would just flash. And then obviously they know that they've either created hard pressure of a question mark or they can actually just walk in. That's really hard to play against, to be honest. So I did like a lot of how they actually approached this map. I thought this had a lot of thought. Again, I think it struggles once you've seen it all, because obviously you just play in front of B, you just shoot the flash. But I thought that again, it has some nice stuff. I just worry. I just worry for whoever they play. Well, I worry for them with whoever they play against next, because
mates.
yeah, dude, it's like one of those where you're just like, oh, I would love to anti this, because they do, and also it's very telling with like the amount of walls.
That's a pretty tough road.
No, that is a rough road as well. So they had some nice stuff. They have some nice stuff, and it's not like complete madness while they're playing the harbor. I still think like the agent's shit, but they're doing good stuff on it.
They, I think at this point in the season, we've answered the question of whether it was Sadak or whether it was Loud that was creating the bonkers compositions. It's Sadak. It's Sadak. He's got the crazy comps. They're all over the place. And he loves the harbor.
No, that's the thing, but so does Ang. Ang loves that.
Yeah,
yeah, they managed to get like the only
the match
two.
made in heaven, yeah.
Yeah, the only two harbor believers in the entire world, and they're both from the same team. So yeah, I worry that it's going to be like every single K-Corp team we've seen for the past 2-3 years of they can win when they haven't shown a demo, but when they've shown that demo, they're going to lose. And I think it might happen. That's where I'm leaning towards. Unless they got a lot of other stuff, but I'm telling you, if you just look at the harbor walls within the first 5 seconds of this, I think you know what they're doing a lot of the time. But we'll see.
Just before we go on to talking about Vitality versus FNATIC, which was an amazing match, there was actually another couple of things that I just wanted to touch on from this week. One of which was, and in fact, actually, I'll just keep it simple. Just the FUT Gentle Mates game, I think, deserves some conversation too, because that was a sick match. I've actually been really impressed with Gentle Mates, and the ideas that they've shown, and their ways of putting Click, especially when he's been playing the Waylay, into good positions. Like the strategies that they've got around that, they're pretty damn good. Like they really brought it to FUT up until the final map where they kind of collapsed. But across map 1 and map 2, it looked like it could have been a 2-0 for Gentle Mates, and FUT were barely holding on with like individual moments more than anything.
I strongly believe that Gentle Mates played better across this. I think the biggest telling
until map 3, right? You can't include Lotus in that though.
I think they. Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, sure. I do think that like when it just goes to go to everyone's name's just gonna be chat from now. Go to performance on that. Go to performance and just look at the buy rounds. Like their buy rounds are crazy.
What map?
Go to go to all maps, and then go up a bit and go on performance. I think it is, or is it something else? I'm thinking of. Is it economy? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. And then look at the. What do I think it was? I thought it was a little bit better than this. Maybe it was Icebox or something.
Normally it shows you the actual round. Oh, if you go on a single map, it shows you the round.
Oh, okay, yeah. Go to like Icebox and stuff, and you can kind of see in these closer kind of games that they're actually just a lot better on the buy rounds. Like this is nuts on the buy rounds here. Like 17 out of 12 they're converting, whereas FUT had 13 they're converting 4. Like I feel confident in once they have money. They pretty much had a bad start on all of these maps. Yeah. So Kamek had a nuts game as well. Like Kamek had a nuts game.
He played well.
I think Mates, like this was the game that proved to me like Mates kind of in a similar sort of fashion maybe to even Boom, right? Or like a genuine contender to go to Masters Toronto. Like I think they look really good. I mean, Mini as well had I mean, Kamek was the star, but Mini still has moments where you're like, wow, you know, like this guy's IGLing, he's young, and he's fragging out as well. They're a really impressive team, and I think FUT obviously had, like you said, Sliggy, they won multiple second rounds, didn't they? Which obviously was kind of a big swinging point, especially on some maps that were pretty close. And yeah, obviously FUT like have a lot more quality than, you know, most of the teams they're going to play, and bailed themselves out of some situations. But yeah, Mates in general, like this FUT are a great litmus test, I think, for a team, because FUT, you know, we know who FUT are, and I came away from this thinking like Mates should probably finish second. I mean, you look at the upcoming games are KC, BBL, and Koi.
Yeah.
Like I mean, they feel good.
They should be favored for all 3 of those games, I think.
Yeah.
They're the only team where I enjoy watching their Icebox. I'm actually like every other team. You're putting me to sleep watching Icebox, and then I watch Channel Mates, and they're doing creative stuff and putting Click, dashing him into here, there, and everywhere, and always set up really nicely with it too. Yeah, I'm a fan.
I think he's still underperforming.
Yeah,
I think as well. I think he has a lot more to give, which is also very exciting for the team. The thing that I found nuts about this is everyone in my chat was like counting down how many kills Kamek was away from like the kill record. Like he actually got, like if you look at the first two maps, he actually was fragging so heavy, and they were like 23 more kills and stuff like that. I'm like, what the hell? To do that on Initiator is actually kind of insane. It's just the fact they got absolutely wrecked on the map, but yeah, really, really good signs. And it's, dude, I'm happy for Kamek because it sucks to get kicked, especially after a team that was like going to Masters. So it's cool that he's just like really showing up. And I don't know if my footsteps have gone
to both. He might go to both.
No, yeah, no, it's true. It would be interesting if they like played again in playoffs.
And mates kick him.
Yeah, it's just forever team hopping. But yeah, my General Mate stocks went up a lot from this one, and my foot stocks maybe went down a little bit, even though they won, I guess. But I don't know where you lost it on it.
Really? I didn't feel worse about FUT, to be honest with you. I just felt like General Mates really played well across map 1 and map 2. I think there was still like good individual moments from FUT. I think Zeus was still performing to a spectacular degree, bailing them out of many, many different situations. And then, I mean, especially in overtime when it came to Fracture, it just felt like he helped them out so often. But they also have like nice ideas in the in the eco rounds. I know you said that they won like that second round after pistol, but they're actually approaching that as a winnable round, which is kind of remarkable. But they were trying to find an individual, and they were like, it was like watching a group of wolves. They were trying to isolate an individual on defense, swarm them, and then just like pick up the gun and try to combo that into finding another player and swarming them. But it was very nice coordinated stuff that I think FUT was still showing, even though the tactical side was way better from Gentle Mates. But I think broadly speaking, like the more teams that FUT go up against, the more their consistency is just gonna carry them through some of these.
I mean, if you look at the final scoreboard of FUT, like every single player is from 51 to 58 kills. And like every single player, like that is a kind of like just perfect FUT scoreboard, right? Of like everyone is chipping in.
All 5 toes chipping in perfectly.
yeah, exactly.
You need them all. All right, let's go on to what was inarguably match of the week, though. That was a great game. I really enjoyed watching FUT General Mates. But
yeah, it's cool.
Just beyond anything else, this game absolutely lived up to expectations. FNATIC versus Vitality. It had close games, it had crazy overtime kind of scenarios, it had big performances coming out from individuals too.
Boaster thrusting.
Dude, that was so funny. After the 1v3.
Boaster thrusting was 9-4 down. That's what made me laugh. Like it was 9-4, you went to clutch. Like, you know, you imagine most people like, oh yeah, good job guys. Like, yeah, good round. He's fucking dancing, like slapping their ass on stage.
But he played unbelievable. He played I can't remember the last time I saw him doing this. Like actually,
his calling was amazing too.
His calling was sick.
He just outplayed them so heavy on Haven in particular. It was excellent to watch.
I mean, yeah,
and
the whole thing.
Boaster
was cool.
talked about the vibes as well, being like, this is the best vibes team he's ever been on, and I think it showed. Right, because normally like 9-3 down, and you lost like a super close OT as well, map 1. Like you're gonna need some good fucking vibes to, you know, think that you're gonna get back in this game, and like I think you can see it, right? Like they do have the good vibes, like they do have that in their team, and yeah, I just can't get over it. Like you're 9-4, and he wins this clutch, you know, with a little like Bilbo Baggins smoke at the end, and it's. I mean, and then as you say, like they're calling towards this, like, and he's going fucking insert you here, and we'll come back here, then we'll double rotate, do a flip, and then we'll win.
It was Queen's Gambit shit. He was seeing the map on the ceiling, and high on his whatever the hell, high on his own supply, just looking at the ceiling. Yes, move you here, move you here, move you here.
Yeah.
No, it was awesome, and you can see that they're like so used to this comp, because even though it's 9-3, they just know that it's a crazy attack-sided comp. So when they win this pistol, like everyone just has full belief, because when they were running this at the beginning, they used to literally average like 8 to 9 rounds on attack and not get many on defense at all. Like they would have games where they had got like 4 on defense and would just sweep the attack.
But also, who would you say is supposed to snowball super heavy on the attack side for Fnatic's comp? It should be Alpha, right? And Alpha went 9-6. Alpha went 9-6 on attack side. Boaster went 12-1 on the attack side. As Omen. This is the Bilbo smoke you're talking about.
This is the Bilbo bag and smoke. It just gives him a little headshot angle and then...
It's a sick clutch though.
Pop in Durka as well. Having Durka and Les be the final 2 players that you kill in that.
Dude, this got me, man. Look at him go. They played
WWE, like it's crazy.
They played sick though, even if like obviously Boaster had again one of probably the best games I've seen him have, like honestly ever. Like as a team, they played like really good as well. Like
imagine you lose the eco after that.
No, yeah, I'm just saying that.
10-4, we've lost.
Just in the background, go ahead.
Another player narrative to focus on though. Yeah. Durka got shut down, I think, real hard in this game. And I was watching it throughout Split, because that's where it really started to rear its head, I think. And every round you're expecting, like, okay, this is where Durka's going to have his big impact. And he kind of did start to come online in the overtime a bit more. But throughout the regulation portion of the game, he was really struggling. And some of it, he's like getting caught through smokes, getting hard predicted on certain angles. And there's got to be an element of it that is just they know how he wants to play on Split.
Oh, for sure. I think like he had a lot of fast deaths, right? He had a lot of fast deaths, and it was for sure a lot down to like Boaster calling, and then it looked like a nightmare. It looked very frustrating if you look at his POV and how he died in a lot of these situations. Like they do just seem to know exactly where he's going to be majority of the time. So they did a great job, man. This was one of the best games, to be honest. It was so sick, and honestly, they could have won 2-0. Really, the first map was incredibly close.
I did think. Oh, one thing I wanted to talk about was the map veto, because I think that's where FNATIC won as well. Because FNATIC, we talked about it going into this game that both teams banned Pearl. FNATIC were Team A, and they took a gamble. I don't know if they did prepare their Pearl or not, but they took a gamble. They didn't ban Pearl, and Vitality played it safe and did ban Pearl. And then there's something in the back of my mind whenever anyone picks Lotus against FNATIC, my like 2023 brain awakens, and I'm like, what the fuck have you just done? Like, what? Why would you do that? And so they ended on. I mean, this might be like FNATIC's best 3 maps that they got in the map veto. I think because they were willing to take a risk and ended up on probably like a perfect veto somewhat for them, I think.
Yeah, I think it definitely came across like that. This is so nice though, because it's like the actual hope of FNATIC is fully back after this, because this is a big win, and just for them as well. Not everyone else, not like us from the outsiders. Like actually going in and winning this is huge. Because no one could take down Vitality really. They kind of just wrecked a lot of teams that people thought were maybe even. So yeah, dude, I feel like that. I mean, they keep talking about how like the atmosphere is the best. I put it down to them getting rid of Mini, but I think it's just overall just everyone's just having a great time.
I mean, the good thing for them too is that they kind of got over their biggest hurdles like now, and they have like a little bit of a chiller time against the teams they're facing all the way until I think their last week. But like I think it's Apeks and Giants, and then we're
up against
a big match.
That could be for the group, honestly. I mean, we'll see how Heretics.
If they beat Heretics, they win the group, really.
Yeah.
Heretics had a weird game today, actually. Not today, sorry, but this week. Where they on Split, where they were up just absolutely crushing. This one was so weird.
It was so
like the FNATIC Vitality game has some halves that are quite one-sided, and then there's a comeback, and it's like, oh shit, the team that came back was calling amazingly. Like, we're giving credit to Boaster for an amazing comeback. You're watching this. There was no hope whatsoever the Giants could come back in this game. There was not a shred. Like, Heretics was stomping them into the dust. And then the side swap, and it's like Heretics just forgot how attack side split worked at all. Like they never knew. and it's just gone completely. It was
think it's
remarkable.
one of those things. Yeah, it's one of those things where like, I forget what other matchup. I think it might have been an NA where the same thing kind of happened, where a team was like really far up, and then they started to just kind of. It's like, oh, we're gonna win anyways. Like, let's just smash our heads against the wall. But like the reason you were winning is because we were playing a really tight game. And then the other team's not done with you yet. And then we have Split, which is one of those disparaging maps where if you play a really good side, you can completely shut out your opponents. Yeah, like one round turns into two. You're on an eco and you can't convert. It's suddenly 11, 13. That university.
But what I kept thinking, Shio, though, was I kept thinking was like, oh, at some point, I mean, Woot's playing fucking ISO. He's gonna pop like he's gonna be around.
Also, they're thinking the same thing. Like, but you have to be thinking of the round. You have to be thinking of like how to keep. These guys are like clinking tea glasses or whatever you do, like in Britain, right? Like just waiting for the round to come. But like, there's no server, there's no tea. Like
they've got one British player. Benji's clinking his own glasses.
Yeah, Benji's just there.
I'm just saying, it's you can't expect to get served. You kind of have to do it yourself, especially I think on a map like Split. How many times have we seen the same thing happen on Split too? The what?
Yeah,
it could have been Neil Zeno and Weber in the coach cam. If they don't do that next time when they're winning like a big half, just get out some tea and just dunk in some biscuits in it. That'd be good.
Yeah, but I was on your stream, TMV. You had like I'm not sure if you guys have seen the meme. Sorry to interrupt, but it was it's like first year of engineering degree, and the guy's like really happy and smiling. I left to go do errands when it was like 10-0. And then I come back to like fourth year engineering degree. The guy's a full beard, like 17 eye bags, and like we're still on the third map, and I'm like, what happened? This is supposed to be over.
Yeah.
The third map also went like a little bit of the distance, and I think everyone's just waiting for it to end because like Heretics look like they're edging to be a little bit better than Giants on the other side. Like I mean, the Lotus was also just like I feel like too close.
It was a bit close, yeah. This was the first time you've ever seen a 10-2 comeback on a co-stream, wasn't it, TMV?
Yeah, I'd never had to ban someone before, so when we get to 10 rounds, I'm like, pay out the pred. There's no way that this other team's winning. But if they do, I always say, but we'll ban someone who wants to be the sacrifice if somehow they manage to win. And I'd never had to do it before. Of all the times we've been doing it, I've never had to do it before until this game, where someone who had a very erotic name, I think, got banned.
Jesus.
Can't remember what it was.
As an opportunity to purge your chat. I mean, that's the first person that's ever been banned in TMV's chat as well. Slicky Mods could never. I mean, they are just literally sending out human sacrifices every day of the week.
I'm out here looking for an excuse to ban people, if anything. Like, what one round that'll do? Get rid of them all.
Yeah, 1 round for every round Heretics win.
Yeah.
Let's check in with some of our predictions then for this week. So, viewer report card. Last week's match of the week, Vitality versus FNATIC. Now, who did you go for? I would imagine you went for Vitality because that was the consensus pick. Let's have a look. Little Timmy's, 70% of you went for Vitality and you were wrong, but that's okay.
We did also guarantee it though. So
did we. We Plat Chat guaranteed it, so fair enough. But that's going to affect your report card at the end of the week. I'm sorry. You can vote for EMEA's match of the week this week on our community tab. That is going to be Team Vitality versus Heretics. So another pretty banging match, yeah. But let's start with Koi versus BBL, which
oh boy, can't be feeling good about this one. Ooh, I'm not sure about this.
Dude, Shio, you look like you're screaming in that photo.
My thumbs like went off camera, so it's yeah, we're on a roller coaster there. Yeah,
I think I do feel okay about this.
Really?
I think BBL have definitely got some problems with their game, but I think that the biggest thing that we're all taking away from the BBL game was they got rolled on Ascent.
Yeah.
And are you expecting Koi to be running a double Sentinel composition on Ascent? But even if they do run double Sentinel compositions, they're not going to run it well, I don't think, because they just haven't been functional across enough of their maps to give me that confidence. I'm feeling okay about this.
No, I don't feel too bad because I mean Koi, both games that they've played Koi, the first map they've been obliterated, right, and then they both I think had 2 overtimes. Second map, the problem is what if that overtime turns into a win and then like BBL end up on a map that they're not that great at? That I think is like I don't. I have almost no confidence that Koi can win a 2-0, so that's good, right? Like BBL will win a map, but I do think there is a chance. Like that, I don't know. We've seen like the low of BBL. Is what I hope, and you know we won't see that again. And for most of the season, they've been pretty decent, and hopefully we see that. And that BBL should be able to take care of Koi.
I think this is like a close third map because I'm looking at BBL. I don't feel that confident in their map pool. I think that they would probably lose an Icebox. They would probably lose an Ascent. I don't think... Well, it was hard to gauge from the Liquid game, obviously. I think they would probably lose a Fracture. There's like 3 maps where I'm like, well, I don't have like the highest hopes for them. So, I don't know. I guess Koi can't pick... Koi can't pick Lotus anymore after that showing, so I guess we'll see. But I think BBL's been banning that anyway. But I think this goes third map because I really think Koi have a collection of maps where they should, and like they can just pick it and then practice this week and know that they're 1-0 up.
I'm gonna hype up the Pred. It's a Plat Chat guarantee.
Sure.
I'm gonna apply officially as the Plat Chat guarantee lawyer and like hype up the fact that this is a guarantee. Okay, BBL. Sure. Yes, bad map 3. You know, we all saw it. You know who else saw it? BBL. And they're going to fix it up. Okay, they have eyes as well. 5 eyes, maybe even 6 or 7 sets of eyes in their roster plus their coaching staff.
I was going to say, I hope they have more than 5 eyes. But
I hope they also have more than 5 eyes. People blink all the time, so at a given moment, we don't know how many eyes are watching. But at the same time, they have eyes. Past that as well, what are Koi doing half the time? You know, we need a firm to look at the problems with Koi when it comes to maybe the motivation sometimes in a few rounds, the problems that are going on here and there, sideshows off camera looking at it too. Like we have our best people working on what's going on with Koi, but we know what the problems are with BBL. Like BBL.
We're not sending our best there, Shio. We're not sending our best.
I feel like I'm a bit more confident in the fact that BBL will have like a prepped plan on fixing like very certain and specific mistakes coming into this, whether it's Ascent or just their approach to problems within the team. Like, not only was it a compositional problem on map 3, but it was just kind of, you know, just a team mesh, like motivational problem. Like you don't see FNATIC going through that anymore when it's bad and they're down, you know, 9-3.5. You don't see some of these other teams that have the hype man in the business on their team supporting everyone. I feel like Yampy has to kind of do that, and he knows that, and that's going to be something that's happening coming into things. We're confident. It's a guarantee. Okay. We're very confident.
I think we spent too much time on Koi BBL, to be honest.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Well, let's go into a much, much better game that we'll all be really excited for too.
Oh, Jesus.
NAVI versus Giants. That's the next one up here.
Oh.
Well, you got your thumb up.
I don't feel like
it's crazy.
I don't think there's any chance of a guarantee either way here. I felt like this was such a coin flip. Like, I don't really trust either of these squads.
Like, if you go to Giants and like who they faced so far, right? Like in general, I just feel like these guys have been facing the Titans of Europe and like doing a pretty good job even in their losses, right? There's some other teams that are struggling, like, you know, against like BBL sometimes in a few maps, or like against Koi pushing it over to an overtime in like map 2. Like Giants have been doing such a good job even in the maps that they're losing. I feel like when you finally go up against a team like NAVI, when you get to breathe a little bit, when you're not against like, you know, Heretics, Vitality, and like Liquid coming off, or Liquid was like their last match before. But when you're not facing Vitality or Heretics, this is a map where you finally, your fundamentals get to show up against the other middle of the pack teams. And it's actually really good. Like, I think we've just kind of been frauded into thinking that Giants are worse than they actually are.
Okay, but hold the phone there.
You can do the same for NAVI, no?
No, but I just want to go through.
Game?
I just gonna want to go through your original claims. Split, yeah, I feel like they've had some decent Split performances. They beat Heretics on Split after that ridiculous comeback, and they played
Split against Vitality was good
Vitality.
too. Like Westside was popping.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I agree. Like their Split looks decent. They got 13-2'd on Lotus, and then I guess they lost 13-8 as well. So that's not
they upgraded it to an 8, right? And if we're going through that trajectory, 8+6, we're almost at like, you know, I mean, we're past 13 if my math is correct.
You are correct. It's 40. Yeah.
Right.
We have a little bit of OT in there too. Like
we got an extra one to play with.
Just in case.
They got battered on Haven, so we've only seen them play Lotus, Split, and Haven. They got battered on Haven. They got battered on Lotus, then improved it a bit, and they're good on Split. It's not like they've been performing amazingly against the top tier teams, or like even on a bunch of different maps.
Still, like, you know, I'm not going to be mad if like I don't know, give me an animal, give me any animal.
Rhinoceros.
I'm not mad if a Rhino can't beat a T-Rex, or like you know, I learned about this cool fish that gains
What
armor
would
in
you have
the
said
ocean.
if he said centipede or like?
I would have
ant?
said T-Rex. I don't care what the animal was. Like, the fact is, they're facing T-Rexes and they're still looking pretty good. Like, the centipede's hitting some poison damage, and now the centipede gets to fight like a gecko. You know, like another little guy. Like,
Dude,
To be
Gecko
fair,
is
this group,
fucking
to
up
be
a
fair to
centipede.
Shio, is like VCT casters. There's the haves and the haves not. Right? For casters, it's hair. For this group, it's whether you're good.
I just
Right,
don't
that's-
think that they're gonna fall privy to like Navi's like tried and true. We're in trouble. Let's default for a bit and then push a site. Like
And Bren
Is
is
that-
Giants.
Brenner
Bren
Wyatt.
is
What are you talking about?
giant.
He's
Yeah,
losing it. He's losing it. He's losing the hair, but he's still there.
I can't feel confident either way on this.
No, I don't.
And I go, this is a 50-50 straight up. The only map I like from Giants is Split, but that probably gets played for map, so there's that. But I also feel good with Navi
Yeah.
on this map. So
I don't feel as good about Navi as I did during kickoff, which is weird to say because I also didn't feel good for them at
Stick
kickoff. But at least at kickoff, I felt like it was a little bit of like the Giants thing that Shai was talking about, where I saw them play well even in their losses, and so I was like, all right, maybe Navi can actually do something. They're not just bottom of the barrel, but my belief in them is slipping a little further down as well. I don't know. I don't think this game deserves the time we've given it, possibly, but we'll see. Let's move on to the next one. The next game genuinely should be a really good one. This one could have been a match of the week, to be honest with you. It's Liquid playing against Foot. So these are two teams that are definitely on the Toronto march.
who did I put? Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Good.
And I think that this would have been terrible if it had been a guarantee. And I'm surprised, actually, the three of us went with Foot here, to be honest with you. But Sliggy, as the sole Liquid representative, the floor's yours first.
I'm literally just thinking what I'm seeing week by week. I think the Liquid actually have a worse map pool than Foot at the moment, but I'm just thinking that when I look at how Liquid have approached like their map pick and working out what the maps are going to be, they're going to be so prepped on two maps that I kind of favor them in this. That's basically where I'm at. I just think the coach stuff week by week are maybe doing the most improvements that I see out of any team, really. I always think that they're in trouble, and then I watch and I'm like, actually, maybe they're not as in trouble as I thought. So that's kind of what I'm going with. And I still kind of think they're in trouble because of the map pool, because I'm still like Pearl, Lotus, and then what else is looking? No, I think they fixed their fracture as well, because their fracture I didn't have too much confidence with.
Yeah,
as
the
well.
fracture looked better.
Yeah, so I think they're slowly fixing the map pool, and I think, I don't know, my Foot stocks went down a little bit for the Gentleman's game, so it's kind of that combined. My Liquid stocks went up and my Foot stocks went down, so back in it.
I was back and forth in this one. I thought that there was an extremely good chance that Liquid take this. I mean, Liquid made it to Bangkok. The individuals have been looking good, but I think more importantly, it's the ideas that they have coming into the game are probably going to be better than Foot's. I think that they're the thing that Foot is making me push more towards the Foot aspect of things. It's just that I feel like their players are pulling magic out of spots in rounds where they need them. And Zeus, I think, is really coming into his own. I love watching Zeus play. He's running around destroying people and playing with so much flair, and the way that the rest of the team plays off him. Yeah, I'm a Zeus fan.
He's
the
great,
god
though.
has descended.
No, he really is good. We're starting to see like his full potential now, because we didn't really see it in kickoff, but now he's like full force. This should be a banger game, to be honest.
This is like the what's it called? You guys don't watch IQ, do you, at all? Like, this is a really good reference, but it's like it's a volleyball anime, which in my opinion is an esports anime more than anything else. Like, it's just about being on a team. Highly recommend it if you're not doing anything with your time. There's so many games to watch. Essentially, they've got these two players whose like signature move is like this really fast quick, and they're the only two players so far in the anime that we know that can do this move, where like the setter hits the fucking ball to the exact point where like the spiker like actually hits it, like is gonna hit it, and that spiker jumps and swings before the ball's even set to him. It's some crazy anime shit. Like, wow, we actually have this set up. Crit, you're amazing. Holy. We go into like, I think this is like they're in some like regional tournament, and they fight this team that has twins. They call it the EMEA twins. And they are also able to do this setup quick. They have an expansive fucking move pool as well, like with striking. And this is the first time where like, you know, Team Liquid, or I guess Karasuno at this moment, are like, holy shit, they can do what we do, right? Because Team Liquid, I feel like even on Fracture, to save themselves, they have these round flip moments where like, yeah, Plat Attack, a crazy clutch, Kiko, 3K with the pistol. Mr. Fallen, you know, it can do that too. He's the one who kind of like is championing that all the way through these games with Foot. They got 5 players who can do what like your 2-star ones can do when pressure's there. So how do we beat this? We have 3 matches, just like Karasuno had 3 sets. I mean, it's going to be an anime game. It's going to be sick. I've seen it before. I'm not going to spoil who wins. But you know, we'll see what happens.
I feel like that would have worked better had we have seen it. You know,
yeah, but
actually, you know what I'm
all
saying?
the
Like,
context.
I was really excited to watch this game, and now I don't think I will.
What? There's no way.
That's fucked up. I do also, to kind of end this as well, I do have confidence that if we're just looking at like the weird icebox comps maybe that FUT are doing, that FUT do weird comps, and I think that Liquid should have good game plans to exploit that. Because I think FUT sometimes get away with a madness comp wise.
Yeah, for sure they do. All right, let's go into our next game then, and this one is the match of the week. This one is.
Are these both on Thursday? What a day if that is true.
Are they? Are they both on the same day? Yeah, that'd be sick. It is Team Vitality playing against Team Heretics.
Ooh.
Oh no!
Damn, the echo is crazy.
I hate that we've guaranteed this,
but
I also don't really see any of us flipping. I mean, is anybody tempted?
If they had closed out the split game, sure.
Exactly.
But they didn't.
Because they didn't close out the split game, and we got to see how rough the attack side on split calling was, but that also opened the door for us to then watch map 3, where you got to see kind of, again, some more of the wiggle room go into their game. Like, there is such a big difference between them closing out decisively on split and not having to ever show some of the errors that then crept into the game and what they actually showcased. I'm still uncertain about Heretics, but I tell you what, dude, Gen.G Fishy is back. I'm loving the fact that Gen.G is not in his slump of kickoff form. I'm so glad that only lasted like one tiny tournament.
I think just in general they look back, because I remember okay, so last week I said that their icebox defense was like the first time I was like, oh, they look back. But this time they had 2. They had the defense on split, and then they had the attack on Haven. The attack or the defense. Okay, yeah. So they had 2 halves now, which I'm like, they're back. So if it keeps going up by 3, then they're winning. Well, maybe they're not winning.
Yeah, so if they get to 3 halves, they'll win a
3 halves, then maybe you'll get pretty close. I don't know. I'm not like super confident with the Vitality pick, but it's just after the split, I can't pick Heretics.
It just feels wrong if Vitality were 1 and 2. That would just feel.
You're so like pilled on the looking at the ratios.
Yeah, because this is how it ends up though. There's no fucking way Vitality are going 1 and 2. Surely, like Heretics, like I don't know. Like you say, I think Sleeves put it perfectly. Like there is. Heretics are showing signs that they are getting back into their form, but they clearly aren't fully there yet. Maybe if this was played in like the last week, they would have had enough time to like fully get there. Like I could buy into that theory. I think. I mean, but then again, there is a world where like, how do Vitality? How do they bounce back from a loss, right? Because obviously they lost. As soon as they lost in Bangkok, they lost again, right? So. And then obviously they had a long break, so, or at least some of a break. So we'll see like how they bounce back from a loss, right? Because there could be 2 modes to this. They could go fucking crazy. Like you could definitely see a world where they go like, oh shit, we thought we were just way better than everyone. Turns out we're not. We need to fucking lock in. You know, like G2 have been saying, like when they we got close versus MIBR, so we need to fucking slap NRG around a bit to just prove where we are. Like maybe that's what Vitality do, like, and go, we're gonna beat the piss out of like a good team. But maybe, you know, they lose some confidence and Heretics have a chance.
The latter of what you're saying happened in Bangkok, right? Where they lost the game and then they did the weird Haven shenanigans. So the record's not great for them, to be honest, for that.
One of 2 things happened with FNATIC too, right? Like FNATIC played really well, but they also like shut down Durka really hard. And I don't think that happens like 2 weeks in a row. Like we're bowling right now with Heretics and it's a 7-10 split and they don't have 2 balls. Like I think FNATIC had 2 balls in their hands and they were rolling them down the lane. I think we're in a 1 ball scenario now. And if that's the case, like, yes, we might get a map off for Heretics, but we don't get the spare, you know, in bowling terminology. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Bowling with one ball in bowling is that's a pretty big nerf.
That is a big nerf. That's a big nerf.
FNATIC are playing with 2 balls. It takes 2 balls to stop Vitality, is what I'm saying. And I don't think Heretics is a team that comes with 2. Never mind. We're chilling.
Let's talk about FNATIC then with their 2 mighty balls.
Smile.
FNATIC, they're playing against Apeks this week. The Battle of the Orange.
Hey, I'm wearing the shirt. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm feeling good about this one. This
What
one's
do you mean wearing the shirt? Is
It's
it not?
orange as well.
because it's orange.
Yeah, but
Like
Apeks is also orange.
I know, it was a guarantee liner.
You were
Let's go.
fine no matter what.
I mean, this one's just a bit of a sad one, isn't it? Where it's like, yeah, Apeks.
But I think gonna plop their 2 balls on Apeks.
Yeah, unfortunately so. Unfortunately so. Another opportunity for FNATIC to just kind of chill as they head deeper into the season, I think.
Even if we have Super Saiyan Floor coming in, like, is it possible?
No,
Maybe.
I don't.
Do you think? Because they're gonna FNATIC, unless they've actually like practiced Power last week for the Vitality game, they're gonna ban Power, which means that Apeks get Ascent, and their Ascent's really good.
Yeah, that's true. If you're talking about winning a map, like, could they win a map? Yeah, I don't see them winning the series, though. I just don't see
Because the
it.
thing
I
is,
just think...
if you say even with Super Saiyan Floor, like we have actually seen Super Saiyan Floor multiple times.
Like maybe SSJ like 2 or something, but like Super Saiyan fucking 4 Floor like coming in, like
she's
tail
dropping
and everything.
100 in a BO3 or something.
Yeah, like I'm talking like insanity, like actual insanity type numbers. Like you've never seen it before in a 3-week span.
Yeah, I mean, if she aces every round, they're guaranteed to win. It would be so difficult.
The spike could go off.
just every time.
Or they could do what Brock did at the end of the game versus G2. Just fucking get 3 kills after the game ends.
Yeah,
stat bad.
possibly.
No, the sad reality is like I don't think Boaster's going to be going out of form by the end of the weeks. I think this guy just gets better and more consistent.
Kayak revenge game.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Ooh.
It's not revenge, really, as he just left.
I mean, yeah, it's not so much
Revenge for
revenge.
Apeks.
Yeah, it is revenge for Apeks.
Yeah, it's revenge for Apeks. Yeah. For Kayak, it's like an opportunity to punch down, which isn't that. I mean, that's not really that fun, is it? It's more fun to root for Apeks the other way around. Let's move on to the next game, I think. This one we've alluded to a little bit earlier on. Karmine Corp play against Gentlemates. Battle of French organizations here. We're all going Gentlemates.
I don't know about that.
Oh, I am so surprised that you all went Gentlemates.
You've been
No, this is our worst one.
banging on Karmine Corp. Arbor's dog shit. These guys fuck play shit comps. Oh, I love Gentlemates.
No, because I think this is our worst one. Do you not think?
We spent like 20 minutes like
I agree.
glazing them.
I agree, but we haven't seen everything from K Corp yet, so they still have their one and dones. Like they still could get the maps that we haven't seen, and the full process will be so good that they should win it. It's too early for them.
What's the veto like for these 2 teams?
I have no idea.
I mean,
straight have no idea.
I think this is a very bad guarantee.
Yeah,
really?
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I thought we'd be split 50-50.
I thought one of you guys would go K Corp.
You guys, I don't think anyone's like going K Corp. Honestly speaking, even community wide, like this is
Really?
Yeah.
What? But they look good.
I know, but Mates just.
I mean, they were playing against Koi.
If you look at the stock graph, like Mates' line is higher, which I'm pretty sure means it's better. I don't do stocks, but like it's they're improving at a much better rate.
Yeah, no, you shouldn't get into it right now. I'll tell you that.
Good. Yeah, like they're improving more so. They have a better baseline anyways from like just relative player skill, and they've looked better in terms of their showings in every match. I just feel like it's a no-brainer.
Bro, we guaranteed Paper Rex. That was the worst one. We guaranteed a
That's
fucking
not the
0-3
worst
team that
That's
don't know
not
their
the-
fucking own roles.
Yeah, but they're playing against DFM. It's
True.
fine.
That's true.
This is I feel worse now because Shia feels so confident. That's shaking me off, man. I kind of want to change, but I'm keeping it. I need the pick'ems to hit. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna
well,
go with the
here we
odds.
are then.
Listen, Plat Chat guarantee lawyer. We feel good about our pick'ems every single time.
Show the
I mean, we
record
were
again,
10-2
Kurt.
last
Show the
week.
fucking record. We're doing
show
well.
it.
Yeah.
We were
We're
10-2.
Stand on our
We
business.
were vibing. We were vibing. I think.
This is our
I am
dodgiest
worried
one.
about this though. I
Yeah.
definitely think that this one is dodgy. This one is absolutely dodgy. But yeah, I think it should be a great game too. I think both teams come in with a lot of tactics where they have like a specific plan for a specific round, and then they're just gonna, and we're gonna see who's got better ones or how you adapt when both teams are throwing kind of ideas at the wall. So I think it should be a sick game to watch from an analyst perspective. Both of the coaching staff having a large impact. That does it though for EMEA. That's our final game that we're predicting. I thought there were some pretty damn good games in EMEA this week.
Yeah. Good luck with
some
Americas
close
and those
ones, yeah.
fucking games. Holy shit.
Yeah, the pooper region.
Yeah.
It is, yeah. It is wild out there. Dude, the pick'ems are easy for this week for Americas though,
Yeah.
and last week. Even
I
I
want
can
to be
do
a
that.
villain.
Like,
Like,
some good games.
Oh, you gonna? Okay, yeah. I mean, if you want to be a villain, I'll watch.
it's actually the toughest time to be a villain. I tried yesterday and tried to justify it a little bit. It's not even like maybe like the 100 Thieves game is good to be a villain in, but even then, like, yeah.
Well, thank you, Sliggy and TMV, for joining us for the Pacific and the EMEA segment. Appreciate your help with that. We're going to go to a short, 3-minute break or something?
Yeah,
3-minute break. And when we come back, Bren and Dryad will be joining us for Americas. So we'll see you then.
You mean Bren? You mean Wyatt?
Wyatt.
Yeah, I mean, Wyatt. Well, who do I mean? We don't even know.
Also, I'm ahead of you now on Fantasy Sideshow, you bold fraud.
There's no way. Are you really?
Yeah. Buzz
There's
popped
no
the fuck
shot.
off.
Oh, did he actually?
He popped
Yeah,
the
he
fuck
did.
off.
Wait, I might be up there too then. He's my GL.
Oh,
Where am I now?
no. You're
23.
23rd.
Yeah.
Jesus.
There's no
TMV,
way.
next season, can you make it so you can change 2 people? I can't do anything with my team. I'm fucked.
Yeah.
I fucked up week 1 and now I'm fucked.
Right? It's so messed up.
Yeah, we'll make some changes. We're also getting fucked by the stupid roster moves all the time in Pacific.
That's true. All right, bye.
Goodbye, everyone.
See you.
Uh,
All right, looks like Dan is here. I'm gonna swap her in, and I'll swap Brennan when he gets here. Where is the button?
you in the bathroom?
Your
Yeah.
microphone is picking up a lot of background noise.
Is Dan in the bathroom?
Oh no, that's better when you put it close to your mouth.
All
Uh-huh.
right, Bren. Oh, that's Bren. Let me get Bren in here.
I don't know.
All right, we got both Bren and Dan here. Bren's screen is just a wall right now. Okay.
Hello, Kurt.
Hello. We can hear you.
Can you see me?
I can see you. It looks
Okay,
it's
that's
a good
good.
angle, I think. Dan,
Thank
can we
you.
get a mic test?
What if I cough into the mic for a mic test?
Oh, it's perfect. You can cough if you need to. Perfect. Thanks. You got great levels coming from you.
Excellent, excellent.
If everybody's here and ready to go, we can start. Sucking down a sandwich.
Yeah,
right
give
now.
me the full
Sucking down.
Let me open my Mountain Dew.
Josh is sucking down. Sucking down.
Such a good angle, Bren. People are gonna. I feel like I'm spoiling it. I'm sorry, but
It's okay.
it's a good one.
It's leaving
One
it
of
up
the
to
new
everyone
ones.
else's imaginations right now. You know? I don't like
Josh
this.
is
No,
going-
I'm not even gonna say it, man.
What kind of sandwich did you get, Josh? Did you just grab extra catering yesterday? Oh, his mouth is completely full right now.
Hello.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Americas segment. Bren, what
Hello.
the hell are you doing?
What?
What is this angle?
Well, I'm in a hotel and I am I can't have my shot towards the wall because me and Alice are here in the hotel room.
So you don't want her to be on camera, so instead we get to see up your nose.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Is this
lovely.
okay?
Yeah, that's great.
Is it-
Thank you. This is really good.
I look like the what's the dude from that troll movie? Where he's like,
Willem Dafoe. Willem Dafoe.
yeah, and he's like looking up at a thing, and it's like
Willem
the
Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe.
Yeah. Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe. And also, my microphone is.
Open your mouth, chat.
Ah.
Dude, I feel like I've just gone into a different universe.
The cognitive dissonance of the last hour and these last 15 seconds.
What is
I
going
know.
on?
Oh, I didn't take my meds.
Okay.
I didn't take my
all right.
meds today.
All right, Brennan, I'm going to require you to focus in. Do we have like a little keys? Has anybody got keys that I can jangle in front?
What do you guys want to talk about?
Sentinels versus EG. Oh, that's what you were talking about.
Oh
Yes,
my god.
I see. Now I see the resemblance.
Wow,
actually.
yeah.
That is pretty
Pretty
good.
close, yeah.
All right, Dryad, how you been doing this week? You enjoy watching Sentinels play against EG?
Next question.
All right, well, let's go on to our next game then, I guess.
You want to talk about this game at all?
I mean, it was a bad game, man. It was
Yeah.
like EG and FURIA are giving us just poo every week. Where is the creativity coming out from evil geniuses? They're bad and they're uninteresting. You can't be both. You don't get to be both. At least in the past with Potter, you had creative and underperforming, and now you just have shit.
Do you know what the major difference might be? No 10-man roster, low key. Because you think about what got EG a lot of their success towards champs in their run was one, they were the best team in the world on Fracture, but I think of all of the set plays and cool util combo ideas that they would have for trying to get in, for getting into sites. And obviously that's not the whole makeup of a team and what makes a team good, and that's not the reason that EG were a good team, just as a sole reason. But the longer that EG's been with Potter as a coach, the more I'm thinking that environment for actually practicing certain things probably went a long way towards the success of EG in 2023.
Yeah, but I feel like, I don't know. There's so many things that are missing that you don't need to be crazy creative to, get one round or like more than one round in defense where you're retaking successfully, and it's just because Superman just sticks it, and I think some piece of utility is missing. I think there's just some things that are not working out for the team. It's like they don't know how to play. Like this map of Haven was terrible. They didn't know how to play at all, and props as well to Sentinels because they were doing the complete opposite. They were playing it so well. They knew exactly how they wanted to play around the map. Narrate was insane in the post blends. I think that's when it is the first time that we were like, okay, holy shit, this is the narrate that everybody has been talking about.
The narrate Sova as well, which we haven't seen very much of, if any.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah. The Sova that we saw, I think it might have been narrated on Icebox. Even playing Sova looked really uncomfortable in terms of where he was when the util was coming out, but he leveled up like crazy. Dryad's right too, by the way, in terms of the fact that Sentinels were really good at receiving a lot of the mistakes that EG were making in this one. The main thing for me too has just been kind of a week-to-week thing with EG are two things. One of them is that I feel like Icy is always just playing on a different tempo comparatively to the entire team. And like you can solve that sometimes with like what they tried here with Nature on Breach, to where like even if you are so far ahead, the util can still kind of follow you. But half the time he's just out in the middle of nowhere and the round's ended because like your guarantee of a kill or like the most pocketed set strat you have is just ending with like just the worst off tempo plays with the whole team. The other thing too, I like 2 rounds from EG in every half, every single game, and it's when it's when we get a timeout. Honestly, when we get a timeout and the next round is an EG round, I'm like, Potter's cooked something. It's about to be lit. Like this is going to be a nice cohesive round. It's going to be dope. And then we go back into like the regular schmegular, like EG still kind of just feel like they don't scrim with each other. They're not playing with each other in tandem. It's like 5 people trying to do 5 different things. It's wild.
I do vastly prefer this composition from Sentinels compared to what they were previously running.
Yeah.
I think just keeping it simple, putting Zekken in a position to carry on the Neon, or at least be in that role where he, you know, is tip of the spear, massive entry, you pile him full of utility, that kind of stuff. It's just so much better than trying to run that Yoru ISO comp that they were previously messing around with. Narrate looks so much better. I'd be so down with seeing more compositions that were structured like this too from Sen. This actually looked like a vision that they could, or a template that they could work with and maybe expand to some of their other maps.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that this is the first time the second plays Neon this year. It just felt like we've seen it a lot more, but he's just been locked on the.
It was all in the off season, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this was like, it was so sick watching Neon Breach on this map. Like, I mentioned a little bit in EMEA, but like the flashes past the fast lane give you like new accesses to like a second hit on a site after Neon dashes in when the wall falls. Like on A, it was so sick. The entries that we're doing on attack. I just feel like it's a much more dangerous. I feel like there's a Looney Tunes show going on my third monitor.
Is this picking up?
Yeah.
Yo, Alex just got a fucking divine orb in Act 3 of Path of Exile 2 campaign on a new patch. That's insane.
I thought you dropped a hot pan or something.
No, this. Yo, can we get a couple of booms in the chat for that divine orb drop? I know we're talking about Sentinels right now, but that's crazy. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Shio, what were you saying? Sorry, I mute my mic.
What was I saying? I'm wondering. Yeah, just Dryad noted on the Neon, and like it was really sick watching the Breach Neon combinations with like the wall drops with Breach's flash or the wall drops with the stun. We see it most of the time, like a util past the wall dropping, like maybe with Harbor or Viper a lot of the time, but like I think like, people aren't ready for these like fast lane wall drop util like fast plays on like the back sides of C and A, and like Sen were just using it in like a really cool way on attack. So like first flash there, I'm not sure if this is the specific round where it actually happens, but just Zekken was enabled like on a second tier really well, past even the first of like the stuns that are coming in, the paranoia that's coming in. There was like no gaps for EG to be able to do anything fast. It was really cool.
Let's talk the next game. 100 Thieves played against.
I'm down, bro. I'm down.
you gave no input on that game either. Bren.
Yeah, well, you want me to give input?
No. I want to move us along.
Well, I'm not convinced with Sentinels yet, so I'm going to give my input.
Right, bloody hell.
Because they're just oscillating wildly from game to game, and this one recurring issue keeps occurring, which is not. It feels like they solved their problems. They're saying, "Wait, we remembered how to have fun." Next thing you know, they're getting smoked. Granted, when they played against Crew the other week, Crew were playing really, really well, I thought. But in general, how convincing is a win against EG? How convincing is a win against EG?
I think it's very convincing. Their biggest problem, yeah.
They're like the bottom of the pack right now.
Really? I think Narrate leveling up and like looking comfortable on his role now makes this team look like a really big step up. And I feel like I know it was against EG, but
EG definitely are still bottom of the barrel. Like EG and FURIA are the two worst teams, aren't they? That's like pretty clear, I think.
Yeah.
EG and FURIA, I feel like you could toss Lev in there, no? Or
I don't think so. I think Lev would be the piss out of EG.
Yeah, probably.
I really think they would. I think EG are
Loud.
Well, let's talk about
Loud. Because that's their next match is Loud too for Sen. That's the next game that they're going up against, and 2G. So they've got genuinely a very easy path to try and get into playoffs here, I would argue. But for me, when I'm going to get convinced is a win over Loud, I think. Because Loud should be a step up over EG.
Okay, but also they're literally below them in the table. But yeah, I mean, Loud played this week against 100 Thieves, and they looked better than they had done previously, at least the week prior, where Vinny's calling was pretty shocking. They lost to 2G. It was rough. lukxo comes in, has an amazing debut. I mean, he looked fantastic. I felt like some of the calling was also really good from Loud too.
It actually was. They hard improved.
Halfway through this series, 100 Thieves decided to turn their monitors on or something. And then Cryo, I don't want to say dragged them kicking and screaming, but he was hard putting out most of the fragging for the team throughout the whole second half of this series. but it was like a light turned on in 100 Thieves camp.
You know what it was?
Literally at the halfway mark of map 2.
Yeah, it was Reyna on defense, I think, for Loud, where like nothing could be found. He's just like just trying to do whatever he could on Icebox, like on 410, and like 100 Thieves just abusing it because they're running the most default protocols to abuse it as well. Like, you know, a fast take of like A main to like silence. He just then like tries to overpeak, he gets punished. He's trying to play like a certain spot, and like Asuna is kind of, you're throwing like 2 spawns with utility, and no one's helping DG break it. And then he's taken out again. I think 4 first deaths for him, and I think most of them were on the defensive half as well. I think that was one of the issues, and then that gave 100 Thieves a little bit of confidence to come back in. It's the whole thing. I think he just got predictable. I think the whole team got predictable on the defensive half.
Icebox is a predictable map, though.
Yeah.
You know they're going to go 12 rounds in a row, unless otherwise someone else happens. It's just, I feel like this map it's getting to the point now where you can do little quirky tweaks to your overall composition, but the overall meta just remains the same across the board for any comp that you play. If you're playing attack side and you can deny that front A control nice and early, like what literally Loud were doing, they were using the salvos and the dart at the beginning to make sure nobody could be on pipes or pushed up close. Maintain front control of that, insert lukxo so that you have this like late pivot option, work the rest of the map. Their attack side was fine for Loud, and then flips the other way around. Oh wait, hold on, 100 Thieves are doing the exact same thing, and it comes down to a battle of like, can you flood defend, or are your retakes good, and do you have good protocols for it? So this is all to say that I hate Icebox.
Okay.
That was the point I was trying to get to. With all of this, I think the map simplifies the way that the teams play, but it just felt like a weird series overall, like you said as well, because 100 Thieves were fucking out of it until the second half of Icebox. It was like they spent the entire first half of the series like just not playing the game.
That's just how the good games for 100 Thieves I feel like have been recently. Like you just need Cryo to turn up. I feel like every time that he does, they win the map, and if he's just okay, because he's never bad, but if he's just fine not putting up 30 kills that he got on that map, they're struggling. And that was also such a Cryo map. Like you see what is that when he got the ace, or is that the week before? I can't remember. But
which ace?
It was like maybe it was not. No, never mind. That was against Crew. It just happens. So many. Cryo ace Icebox happens too often, but I don't know. I think overall 100 Thieves, like I want them to be good. I like how they like to go for these fast hits and all that, but it's
No, he did land an ace on. Do you mean the anti-eco ace? I think it was like round 14 or something, was it? Where he sprays down all of the players that are just peeking into him one by one.
Oh yeah.
Green, yeah. That was in this series, I believe, and that did kind of wake him up. I know that's what the analysts were talking about. Baby Bay was saying, like, thinking about himself being in the same position. You get an ace like that, even though it doesn't mean that much, you're just like, yeah, I'm fired up.
We're back.
I think this is good signs though for 100 Thieves. They didn't mentally crumble when they were down and out. They were able to drag it all the way back. And one of the big things that I wanted to see from them, and Loud to a degree as well, was a bit more nuance in terms of the calling. Because 100 Thieves on some maps, they tend to just send it. I don't know if that's just Asuna taking control of like the fucking hive mind for a second. He's like, actually, with our one brain cell, we're going to run it down. We're going to fucking run it down as hard as humanly possible, and everybody has to be aligned with me. And that's the entire tempo they play at. But I think this series towards the end, especially on Split, showed a lot more nuance with the calling, and Loud also showed improvements to the calling, and I think partly because lukxo was so good at just being proactive and finding timings and giving them pivot options and, you know, plays to work off if, like, oh, we're going to take B main control and then potentially go into a B split, but then lukxo actually gets like a pick over towards A and gives them the option to go there. Do you know what I mean? Like, it helps that they had a cracked player to make the calling easier, but for 100 Thieves as well, I have to give them credit because tenacity is not something that I would attribute to this team at all. I think in terms of resilience, it's never really been a trait that I would apply to them. But I think this showcased it because they were like down and out, bro. Like I'm sorry, there's 20 other fucking universes where they end up losing this series on Icebox with the state that they were in. It was 9-3. It was 9-3 at the second half of Icebox, bro. It's just, yeah, I think I have to give them credit in that capacity as well. And they do seem like they're leveling up a little bit. Now, it is strange that they're still playing the same comp on Split too. because there's only so much you can add to that. I felt like a lot of their success early on came from big ideas that they were throwing out on Split, but they still showed that they can make it work.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like I'm also on a little bit of the side of like Loud running out of steam on that second Icebox half. I think other Thieves did still have like the mental integrity to stay in the game, but even in Split, like some of these rounds from Loud, they were just running into like full Sage util, trying to force out like a B push on a Sage slow, getting like separated by it sometimes with their duelist is on site, but like there's a slow in main and now the round's lost type things happening. Like I'm not saying 100 Thieves got gifted the win by any means, but they got a lot of breathing room from like Loud just being kind of stubborn on like just trying to win this match through like raw throwing their heads at the wall in some of these rounds. They started really good too with like a 4-0 and then suddenly like they kind of forgot how to play against a Sage. I don't know why that was a thing, but yeah, it was kind of ridiculous in my opinion.
I like that 100 Thieves showcased that they had more to show with this composition. I thought it was a guarantee that they would change this comp. I thought this comp did not have basically anything more in the tank, and they'd just be running the same kind of stuff. And then when they started the map, it was looking like similar vibes, and then they did actually show some slightly different looks to the point where it was different enough that Loud couldn't just immediately adapt. But I think 100 Thieves have got to be preparing another composition in the back to pull out on Split later on, because you can't be running this against everybody. It's gonna hit its endpoint sometime soon here, and you can't rely on Cryo dropping 24 on Sage to be able to get you across the finish line every time.
Well,
not every time. They did this time, obviously, but not every time. All right, let's talk 2G though, because that was the team that beat Loud in the previous match, and then really tested Crew in this game.
Kind of. These games have been fucking weird, bro. They've been weird as shit. Now listen,
fake games.
Let me get stanced up for this as well, because people have been complaining about the angle, so I'm going to give them something different. But just going through the timeline of all of this. What the hell was this game, bro, on Pearl afterwards as well? Like, look at this. Like, Icebox, okay, Icebox is just, it's whatever. Like, I usually forget Icebox being played, Ascent, and honestly, Crew's Icebox, actually pretty good. There was a little meta developments I was talking about when the comp doesn't really change that much. I think teams have been doing this for a while, but we just haven't seen Icebox played. But the best teams in the world, when they're taking A control, they'll have a lineup or some way informed to isolate pipes and make sure that players can't play on top of it on defense. Which Crew have a nanoswarm lineup. They have a Dart nanoswarm, the exact same that I was talking about with with Loud doing their salvos and Dart. And just inserting your Killjoy is essentially just free wins on Icebox. Just pressure, pull players away, take a hit with less players over towards A. So they understand how to play Icebox really well. Ascent, I can't remember what happened on Ascent, bro. Just we could look at clips. I don't know. I blanked it out of my mind. Pearl, I'm pretty sure I was eating during Pearl, but I just kept looking up, and it was like, oh, is this going to be a 13-0? Like, I don't know where I'm going with this.
I'm sorry.
that's it.
Dan, I want you to talk about Ascent. So Ascent was the map where Crew got not just tested, they got kind of smashed, I would say. I mean, they're running a double Sentinel composition that we've seen other teams play to the point where teams cannot win an attacking round against them. Yeah. Unfortunately, it flipped on its head here because Crew were only able to get to a 6-6 half. Atom was eventually able to call enough adjustments so that they finished with a 6-6 half because it wasn't looking good. Yeah. But then they couldn't win a single round themselves on the attack side. So what's going on here?
It's this is interesting too because now that Ascent and Pearl, that was map 6 and 7. So Crew has shown every single map. And most of them have been looking good, but Ascent since last year, it was the map that they could just never win when they were playing that standard composition. I think I was looking this up. It was like they won 2 out of 8 of the Ascent maps. It's just something that they have with the map. But they changed the composition with a composition that, like you said, it should be defensive sided, like really, really good. But they, I'm assuming is because you're prepping all of the maps that you don't have as much time to know, I don't know, like give time to Ascent. Just the way that, because we've seen this in tier 2, Cloud9 played it really well. I feel like they should take some notes on what they were doing. It was just like, we're going to put both of our Sentinels towards the B side. 2G just happened to have a really good read like 3 rounds in a row where the Sentinels were on the complete opposite side. It was a fast hit. Kesnick gets taken out first. And then they just do this constantly on the where like crew cannot do anything on defense. I think Cloud9 looked so much better. The utility and the way that they were playing around with the Sentinels was so much better. And Adam, it seems like when he was calling for those timeouts, they were changing things here and there, but I don't think they still have the full understanding of how they want to play. I mean, it just makes no sense. You're playing this deadlock cipher, and then what was they have, like 8-4?
It was 6-6, I think.
6-6.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They won
6-6.
4 rounds in a row towards the end, though, to be able to pull it back. So it was 6-2, I think, for a while.
And that was when Kesnick was just playing forward because they realized they can't just only rely on the utility that they have. So he was just kind of running it down, trying to bring him back. But yeah, this map has never been good for crew. I think everybody, from what I said, was like, please not Ascent, please not Ascent. It's okay though. It's fine.
Can we take a look at rounds 3 and 4, Kurt, if you don't mind, of Ascent though? Because I think there's a couple of things that crew were doing badly, and I think there's a couple of things that 2G were doing well that are worth pointing out when we're thinking about the double Sentinel comp. First of all, on the pistol rounds, like, you need to, most of the teams that are good at the double Senti comp are doing something aggressive on defense on the pistol. And then here in round 3, Kesnick does this like little pop through the flash at bottom mid as well, which is a bit of a risky play, but all right, he gets it done. This wall was being constantly thrown by Mazzino that's really far forward and quite easy for the attackers to break, which I think is kind of failing to understand what's good about a deadlock wall in the first place. It's just supposed to block an area off in a spot that's difficult to access. But another thing that 2G were doing a good job of is being able to get splits in through mid. Now, they end up losing this round, so we could skip forward to round 4 if you like. But I think 2G got into a nice, like a decent, a winnable position there. Another thing that I noticed that crew were doing, which was weird, was they were fighting super heavy over A main control, which isn't that great with this comp on defense. Normally, teams are playing for like hard anchoring on A with their defense with this comp. And then they will fight over like B or threaten some tiles crunches or something. But this round, look at how 2G are abusing mid. So mid is normally just being held by like 1 trip or something. And so they killed the player defending over towards mid. Great pick. And now these players on B, they've got a wall over towards stairs and are funneling all of the attackers in through lane. But with this one paranoia, the defensive setup just gets broken. Mazzino's already wasted his grav net. And so the like crucial areas that crew need to fight over are getting abused, but I think also 2G are just doing a better job than some other squads at realizing that mid tends to be the weak area with this double Sentinel composition. We saw Cloud9 basically, when they were running it, only have a vice wall mid the whole time. And I think for some of the teams, it can be you just get stun locked by this comp and you don't know what to do about it. But when I watched 2G, I was like, well, they're not getting stun locked at all. They're immediately coming up with a game plan. And all right, maybe against some better teams, the game plan wouldn't have worked and you would have seen maybe an 8-4 half or something like that instead of a 6-6 half. But I think 2G were, credit to them, super decisive and actually brought the fight to crew instead of just waiting to die to the double Sentinels. Yeah. Not that it was well played by crew either.
I agree with that. Yeah, they were... Sorry, let me lean back a little bit. Let me get comfortable. But yeah, I hard agree with the calling on Ascent from 2G. 2G have been impressing me over the course of the season to a degree because I've never seen a team have less hope than their opening game. And they have significantly improved from where they are at. Still not good enough to really be a team contesting in the middle of the pack, but considering everything they've been through, it's better than I was expecting, for sure.
They just need to make playoffs. That's all they need to do is make stage 2 playoffs so that they can play in Ascension. That's the whole goal of this org, surely.
They're looking good to get towards that, yeah. I think I agree too with the points that were brought up for Ascent. 2G's defense as well, like, was really good at just stalling things out from the side of crew. Like getting hit against a Vise, like delaying all that time as well. Especially on A-site was huge. The thing with crew I didn't understand as much was like it felt like even though they had 2 Sentinels, there was a less utility on the map than if there were ever even just 1 Sentinel, right? Like was so weird. We didn't have like the Cypher Deadlock setups together as well. I feel like a Vise might have been better too, because Sasha, you mentioned it as well. They were fighting a lot for A. That like Verso and Shy also fight for B main a lot, but the B main fight is good. They were winning it. If you get an advanced Vise wall in there, or like Thorns deep in B main afterwards, it's huge. When you're fighting with a Cypher, a lot of the times, like there's not really much advanced utility you can put down that'll have an impact. And sometimes in those fights, like 2G were doing a really good job of baiting that fight out and then pushing side immediately because they were kind of out of position. Deadlock as well, really good having the grav net in a position where you can actually react off of it. But we had like Mazzino playing so far back sometimes where his first grab net wasn't really ever used in the round as well. I feel like Deadlock's like really good right now because you can use 3 in a round sometimes. So I think the pieces are almost there for crew on this map. We just need like a little bit more, I think maybe adjustments, some VOD review on this one. I like the ideas overall. I just think for how the players want to play, they want to fight more, a Vise would be much better. And then for 2G, I think this is a map they're pretty comfortable on in terms of facing many teams, because Ascent can be played in so many different ways, and their solution in terms of hitting mid immediately, like not delaying any time and not being hesitant really compared to a lot of teams I've seen on this map, is huge for playing Ascent against any team in the world. So I hope that this stays in the pool, that they go for it like even in a map 1 instead of something like a map 2-3. It's the way for 2G. Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the most one-sided game that we might have ever seen in Americas. Like, honestly, it was looking like it might have been one of the most one-sided games of all time. People were talking about, has there ever been a 13-1, 13-1 game? G2 decided to come out, and because what they had said was, because we had a close game against MIBR, there was a lot of chatter about the other teams in Americas catching up to us, and we decided, no, we are going to just shit on NRG and prove that we're in a different tier. And my God, they obliterated.
This was one of the biggest challenges of our casting careers, I think, was even in a tri-cast setting, trying to, I don't know, make it entertaining to a degree. It was entertaining from the perspective of G2 were just shitting on them, but that was about it. Like it just turned into a G2 glazing session because they did shit on them. They set out to prove that they are in a different tier, and they're still in a different tier. Although Map Pick Bang kind of got trolled a little bit though, no? Like,
yes,
Lotus,
they lost in the
Ascent,
draft phase.
Yeah, the
Lotus,
Lotus.
first two maps.
Yeah.
Why did they play Lotus? They lost in the week before to FURIA.
I know they had like a. Oh, go ahead, Brad. Yeah.
No, well, my inclination is that you got to take a risk somewhere, and better the devil you know than the one you don't, or whatever the fuck it's called. You know, like that's what. Well, how did they say it?
Yeah.
Keep gambling. Keep gambling. Never give up. 99% of gamblers give up before they win a big. The man in the mines, the mining diamonds moment. But I think there's a ton of footage on the way G2 play Lotus, but this is how you know G2's one step ahead. G2 completely changed up the defensive setups from the get-go, anticipating that they have just done VOD review footage. Because the game plan for NRG, they started every single round on attack, trying to lean over towards C-mount control, because typically G2 play with Jorgamo taking contact over towards A rubble, and they refight A rubble after the team takes A rubble control. That's the most typical way that G2 play it. And so C gets left a little bit weaker, but they had just altered their defensive setups from the get-go. It wasn't even like they were adjusting to the NRG game plan. It's like they read the NRG game plan ahead of time and had already moved players heavy over towards C mount, and that was where the main contention happened. And NRG realized way too late on their attack side. It was a masterclass. They were ahead of the curve from beginning to end.
Dude, look at rounds like this though. Because this is not a tactical masterclass.
No, it's a clutch masterclass. This is a player diff.
We saw so many of these rounds as well, though, where it was like, I think there was 4 in this half, maybe. That might be an exaggeration. Maybe it was only like 3. But there were 3 massive rounds where NRG were in a position to win. And then G2 were just like, nah, we are simply better players as well. We diff you not in the game plan department, but also in the player department. Owned. Hold the L.
They chose like the low percentage option every time, or like we're 5 seconds not patient enough. Like I think pistol is a perfect example of that. Like their attack side pistol, even though they swapped the defensive setup, like G2, they get on site. They have an amazing, an amazing idea to flood spawn like NRG, And if they wait 2 seconds, they have stun and salvo up. You see it as the players die, pushing in the spawn. They just raw peek it. Like there's no thought process of like we have so many tools to use to actually do this. It's just a blunder from the players. Over there too, you have so much time to peek. You have a stun as well on the side of Ethan. You could fall down to drop. You could switch things up. Just peek the guy stunned. I mean, it's unfortunate, but it's like, you know, you're playing the lowest percent options to try to help yourself win. It's crazy, man. It's
kind of what we talked about when we were talking about this match and who was gonna win. It's like, okay, if Mata and some show up, they could, Energy can take it, but they did not. Like they never had the chance to really. And I think this is just one of the worst Mata games that we've seen. But it's not even on him. The whole thing. It was a G2 that, like you were saying, like individually they were insane, but on top of that, like, I don't know, they're always just one step ahead. I think that's what's always the most impressive thing.
They knew what Energy were going for from the rip with the Lotus being let through moment. It's mad impressive from a prep basis and an individual player basis. This was like this was the showcase, and it was all packaged in like 20 minutes of footage. Just insane work from them. Yeah,
it was nice. They turned the match into a clip. They were going for the short form content. They knew that people's attention spans were not what they once were. I mean, there was another stinker basically with Lev versus FURIA. One was.
That didn't happen.
We got to talk about it.
Oh my god! Like Havoc's Yoru on Pearl was like just. I felt like I was in a carnival house of torture. It was crazy. Like the things I was seeing on that map were nuts. Like I think it was just a fundamental like maybe first timing or just non-understanding of like what we're doing here. But it was like I don't even know how to explain it. The things round after round were just crazy. We're like Yoru ulting through art, like not clearing anything, just opening up on people. The amount of times that like Havoc's going to try to kill King as well. The one and only person who can teleport away from you when you decloak is Yoru. Like it was just, and that was just one part of it. Like the whole team, I'm like, they're waiting outside on an A main smoke on attack, knowing there's 3 people there. I mean, there's no way they push the smoke, right? Push into 3 rifles, immediately die. Like I feel like it's like everything that just was not supposed to happen. We were like, surely we switch up a little thing here, and it's not just feed. Like it was the one time I wasn't sure what FURIA were trying to do. Like that's the thing. Usually you can see the why and be like, okay, that was a mess up. Like that's unfortunate, but it's like I feel like there was just like just vibing as a 5, chilling in the call and just playing like a stack and doing whatever. This was unfortunate from Heat 2, obviously playing on timing. Tom just comes in and absolutely dookies all over him. Like it's everything that's being tried is just failing over and over again. It was crazy. Yeah.
That on map 2, I really want to talk to Heat. Was he saving the op in that last round? Did you guys see that?
Oh, the last round of the first half. Stats playing. Yeah, no, this is some crazy behavior from FURIA. This team's given up. Like low-key after this game, this team has actually given up. And for me, the big thing that I came to the conclusion with this, because I was pinning Lev down at the bottom of the barrel with all of the fucking bottom feeders, but they're currently somewhere between middle of the pack and the bottom of the barrel right now after this win. It's a decisive win at that. But they're making the most of a terrible situation in terms of their roles just being fucked right now. So it's understandable that they're not going to be as good as other teams, but you still see glimpses of the player quality coming through. And in this instance, when a team literally has given up and they're playing against, like, I don't know what the fuck FURIA are doing at these moments, genuinely. Heat genuinely was like playing for next year's contract with that op save on Pearl. I was watching that shit and I was like, what is he doing? Why are you not playing to win in that moment? I mean, I feel like I'm rehashing a very similar argument from last year that got me in a lot of trouble, but I'm not going to fucking, I don't want to go too hard into this, but it's last round. You don't need to save the op. Yes, I know there's a cosmic divide and it's a 1v4 and you've got an operator and you're playing retake into it. It's fucking probably unwinnable, but why are you playing for the VLR rating, bro? Yeah, seriously, like at least try and win. At least try and win the fucking round. Like, why are you playing for the VLR rating?
He only ever brings this up when it's Brazilians. I think he's just xenophobic, man.
I think I just hate Brazil, apparently. Brazil, I love you. Please let me into the country.
I think people... I said this last week as well. I guess I wasn't on the show last week, but I was talking to people at work about this. I think people overreacted slightly to Lev's loss to Cloud9 in thinking that Lev were genuinely a terrible team. I know that their round differential was appalling coming into this game, but the like way in which LEVIATAN was set up with their defensive setups and their attack side strats, it all seemed sensible to me in the game against C9. And the individual form also looked really quite decent in the game against C9 too. But the connective pieces were missing, and they got completely outplayed in the execution of it. But I don't think this is a bad team. I think this is like actually a middle of the pack kind of team. I think if anything in America, what we've got is a ridiculously stacked group Omega, where in reality, possibly the top 3 teams in Americas are G2, C9, MIBR. I mean, maybe Crew and Sentinels are in there somewhere.
Oh,
you don't think that's true? I think that.
No, I think that like I agree with you, but like not. You can't just dismiss like Crew and Sen and not have them in the conversation for top 3.
No, I'd still have them in the conversation. Yeah, of course. Yeah. But I'd say that those are the top 5 teams easily, and I don't think there's any conversation about that. Yeah. And I think that it's possible that, like, I've got MIBR and Cloud9 at the moment currently looking better than Sen. Like, I think that they look better than the current form of what we've seen from Sentinels. And so then Crew, it's like, all right, well, Crew probably slot in there somewhere, but I'm not exactly sure where. But if you were agreeing with my frame of looking at things, then 3 out of the top 4 teams are in that group Omega. And so a team like LEVIATAN, for example, is going to have just a rough luck of things anyway. If they are a middle of the pack team in a group like that, they're just going to kind of look.
Who would you equate them to? Rough. Like, would you say they're more on like an EG level or like a 100 Thieves level of like looking at? I mean, EG's kind of like
no, they don't play anything like 100 Thieves, but I think they're more like 100 Thieves, where some of the ideas that they've got look like they make a lot of sense, but the actual like the execution of what they're doing sometimes is missing a lot of pieces. And so you see 100 Thieves and they're making all of these weird scrambles in the mid round, and it's getting all really confused, and the trading isn't with each other and stuff like that. And you're like, all right, this team has got a lot of mess going on, but you can see what they're going for, and it's still, you know, got some quality to it. That's where I would put LEVIATAN, I think, roughly, but a really different style, completely different, way less chaotic, way more like maybe not even doing enough rather than doing too much, kind of end of the spectrum.
I just wish they would like take a map off a team at least, because I feel like that's valid, but like they've been stomped. Like I haven't seen like just a over, like even in just a mini form of a result. Like a thing from Lev, because it makes sense what you're saying. It's just on paper it's never there.
They got stomped in some halves, but I don't know. Did they get like blown out of entire maps in the games against? Well, I mean, on the game against.
It's kind of But the Ascent game though was playing attack into the double Sentinel comp, and Cloud9's defense looked like
it looked
the
amazing.
Best implementation I've ever seen. Of double
even though it looked amazing, like we were as viewers even like, why weren't they even just ever allowed to challenge mid? Like, why do teams autopilot on Ascent so much? It's just, you know, it makes you end up looking like how FURIA looked today.
Khalifa mental stack. The Burj Khalifa mental stack.
They did not have a Burj Khalifa mental stack though. They were not in Dubai. These guys were not in Dubai.
What are you?
What? They didn't have a triple initiative.
What are you asking though, Shire? Like, why are they not working mid more?
Why are they just trying something else? Like we harp on FURIA because they kind of just like El Chololololo do the same thing every round, or like make a weird mistake going into like a setup they know is there. Like they're knowingly trying to climb up the waterfall to impregnate a salmon, right? Like they're a salmon themselves. Like they're trying to live their life this way, and we rag on them for it. But then when Lev do the same thing, it's like, but it's C9 guys, and they have a really good setup.
No,
it's the same
but it
shit.
Was different.
No. Yeah, it was different. It was different because Cloud9 were proactively
like
fighting
10 rounds,
them too.
There was a
like
Vice wall just active in mid, never challenged.
Because they started with mid conditioning.
I've never seen a rusty Vice wall in my life.
Because Cloud9 started with mid conditioning with like their weird ass fucking comp and punished like mid fights super heavy early on. And Cloud9 intentionally made them play slow as shit. Like it was a really good overall game plan by Cloud9 on the defense. I do stand by that. It makes teams look worse than they actually are to a certain degree. Now I don't agree with Josh saying that Lev are a middle of the pack team right now. They need to prove a bit more, I think, considering how
I think they're better than NRG.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's not hard.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then I think they're better than EG. I think they're better than 2G.
That's also
I
not
think
hard.
at that point you're a middle of the pack team.
But you understand, like the pack is like if we're playing Tarkov, like if every other region has like a 4x4 backpack, like NA's is like a 8x2. Like that thing goes down. So like the middle of the pack can be really easy to get because there's so many other teams kind of locked in down here. It's like we're on like the fourth rung for Lev. Cool. That's like the second bottom rung for like another region. You know, like.
Well, they play against G2 next. So immediately, like any of my cope for LEVIATAN is now just going to be tossed out the window completely because people are going to come back to this next week after they get like 13-0, 13-0'd and be like, this is your middle of the pack team, you fucking bald fraud.
I think you might be onto something. You might be onto something. You might be onto something with it. Because I'm looking at the teams, I'm like, you said you wouldn't have Sen and 100 Thieves above them?
Whoa, hold up. You are just putting words in my mouth.
Yeah, I am
what
putting
are you
words into your
talking
mouth
about?
because I can't remember what the fuck you said.
He's saying he wouldn't have EG above them, and he wouldn't have
EG. Yeah,
oh, no, he would have EG above them. No, yeah, he wouldn't have
EG
EG
the standings.
Yeah.
I've got 6 teams I would have above them right now, and then after that, it's up for debate. So yeah, I guess that would make them a middle of the pack team.
But the pack in NA is like you got to shift it down. You got to shift the pack down.
I agree. We're a one-team fraudulent region. It's crazy. Actually, I don't think
agree with that. I don't agree with that.
I don't think that's true. I think G2 are looking awesome, but I'm excited to watch MIBR, Cloud9, and a bit of Crew and Sentinels at the moment. I'm excited to watch those teams. Let's move on to the next game though.
You don't want to talk about.
Was...
You don't want to talk about. What
you don't want to talk about the beef.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, let's talk about the LEVIATAN on
the beefing.
The beef, the massive beef. Yeah. So me and Bren were gonna smash Rossy's kneecaps next time.
Dude,
so LEVIATAN.
I was so fucking confused at that.
Well, let me set the stage. Let me set the stage.
So, bro, I'm
LEVIATAN
still perplexed. I'm still perplexed at what was going on in that.
Lev jumped on the couch after their win against FURIA. Dude, they just piled in. There was more and more and more and more of them. And I think people loved it, right? Because they just don't really normally get an opportunity to see the player personalities as much as they do there. But the Lev players were all on a super euphoric high after winning. And they were just yapping. And they were supposed to be talking about the next game coming up, about Cloud9 MIBR. And they couldn't stop talking about themselves. I mean, like, least narcissistic team of all time. They could not talk about anything other than themselves.
It's understandable they were acting like that, but it reminds me of the fucking meme of the dude in 3rd place spraying champagne over everybody. Because it's like, I'm like, this team's sitting at 1 and 2 right now, and the way they were yapping, like, I mean, listen, no shade, they got their win, fair enough. They got their fucking win, but they were coming at it with a different type of energy. I was like, holy fuck, like what?
They were so high energy.
We just got off the champs finals.
Well, here's what it was, right? Like, this is if I'm Professor X and I'm describing how I made the Powerpuff Girls, that being like LEVIATAN on the couch right now, like the sugar at first was like, you guys kept playing like the C9 clips for them, like over and over again. It was like describing like how Lev did something really good. And then Baby Bay's like, C9 kind of shit on you. Here's a package of like Zepa being so good. Why is Zepa so good, by the way? This
moment was so fucking bizarre to me because I thought we were going for I thought we were being funny. I thought it was like a bit of like yes and improving because I walked in after having a piss and I hear like Josh being shit talked by Rossy because I'm assuming Josh you've called Rossy a shit player at some point. Who hasn't? We're all guilty of that. Like, I know firsthand, and he can talk his shit as much as he wants, but then he is like, who is that back there? Is that Wyatt? And I was like, okay, I'm going to play into this. I'm going to play into this for the bit. And so I walk over trying to be really, like upset, like, yo, what did he say? Blah, blah, blah. Thinking it was like a bit of yes and improv. And then immediately Rossy gets up, puts his back to the camera, and I'm like, wait a second, this isn't a bit anymore. He's genuinely trying to de-escalate it, thinking I'm about to fight him. because he looks at me, and I don't know if he had the mic up or what, because I don't have a headset on. I can't hear what's coming on through the stream, but I'm like trying to like yes and a bit, being like, yo, what the fuck did you say? You calling me Wyatt? Like playing into it, because I don't give a fuck if people don't know who I am. Like most viewers don't know who we are. They're just listening to the cast. They just know they've got the fucking bold British guy and the less bold British guy when we come up on the screen. That's just a fact that I know. But he genuinely was like, he stood up and was saying to me like, no shade, like, and I was like, I had to be like, no, I'm not pressed. We're doing, this is fun, it's content, bro. Like we got to go back and forth on this. But then he just like started going like fucking, and then he just started throwing more shade at me, and I was like, is he genuinely upset that I called him a shit player on Plat Chat? Like, where is this coming from? I was confused, and so. Genuinely, my brain was rattled. He got me. He's perfectly within his rights to get my ass. Because listen, we talk shit about. I'm like the #1 Rossy hater. I've been talking shit on this guy and praying his downfall for quite some time. Yeah. I think I have. I can't think of any other reason as to why he would be upset. It has to be that
the players are not watching every episode anyway. They wouldn't know what you've been saying.
The players, motherfucker, we were going into the player practice rooms. These fuckers are searching their names up on VLR forums trying to get fucking validation. What do you mean they're not looking at Plat Chat episodes? I know these motherfuckers are watching this episode right now trying to hear the name drops. I already know they're doing that shit because they're insecure young men, and I've been at that point myself. Like, I already know what it's like to be that when you're searching for that fucking validation. So I've been in the fucking practice rooms and seen that shit firsthand. I already know they're doing that. So don't try and come at me being like, no, they're not watching. They fucking are watching.
No, I mean, Rossy in interviews with Ravish as well has said that one of the things he likes most is going through the VLR forums, looking at everybody's takes. And now that is insane.
Wow. Insane thing to do. If you're a pro player, stop doing that right fucking now, because as soon as you either have to be fucking Christian Bale from the Psycho movie to not give a fuck about that type of shit, or eventually it's all going to come crumbling down and you're going to crash out.
The thing about Christian Bale's character in American Psycho is that he's horribly insecure, actually, and that's why he's so conformist. is that he has to abide by everything that's going on inside of that. No, I mean, yeah, you're going to end up stabbing a homeless man in the street potentially. you're gonna crash out. Wyatt, though, notifications blowing up while he's at the gym because people thinking that he's on the show, I guess. I'm just trying to bench press, bro. Why are my noties blowing up?
Dude, Wyatt is such a little, like, hot girl summer. Like, I already know that dude's on the Stairmaster, you know? He's at the gym. He's trying to look good. He's trying to get that itty-bitty waist. Like, look at this guy. Look at this dude. He's like the photo looking down at the gym. I've heard about his routine. I'm telling you, it's some filthy shit.
Shia was telling me I look like an Alolan Diglett earlier on when my face was poking up above the screen. He looks like, dude, he looks like a sea cucumber. Wyatt looks like a sea cucumber there. He's got like an anemone floating out of his head.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I hope massively that when we go back into the like chill vibes area in a couple of weeks from now, that more teams are down to do that. Because I think that Leviatan's like fan appeal will have gone up massively from that game. Because the only reason people really cared about Lev was because of the drama prior to this week. They just wanted to be like hating on Demon One's downfall or wondering if the team was going to fall apart or something. And now they actually have some like player personalities to hook into and some like, oh, I hope we see these guys succeed so that we can hear them just yapping for 30 minutes at the end of a match win.
Yeah. So, it was good. It was a lot of fun.
Hopefully that gets other teams involved to just shoot the shit.
Here's a question for you three then specifically, right? Because I think you're one of the few people in the whole world right now that has this perspective living in it compared to even all the other regions. How often should we utilize like a desk like that or like a couch like that, a facility like that? There was like a lot of talk about like even my wife, who's like she doesn't play Valorant a lot, but she watches it. She really liked like this was the first time she's seen like a summit style thing happen. Like I think a lot of Valorant viewers as well who might be new to esports, this was like their first approach at like a summit style thing. Really liked how things were, and that Lev moment does not happen on like match point, right? Because Bren is taking a piss and going home. Like it's when do we use this? Obviously, maybe not for playoffs or something, but like I can think about like Smash Bros too. Like, all right, go ahead, yeah.
My take is that, and I've had this take for a couple of years now, is that I massively prefer the more casual, like UK match of the day vibe for an analyst desk, where you're not fully behind a desk. It's just like people sat at chairs chilling, and you can bring people in if you want to. I don't really like it for the casting, because I think that it, when you're in the game, you're in the game, and a viewer who tunes in doesn't really know whether you're in a more casual setting or whether you're in a more competitive setting. They're tuning in because they want to just watch the game. But for an analyst desk, I'd be down if all of our analyst desks were just more casual for regular season stuff, and then we went into more serious once we got to playoffs. But that's not a feasible option currently. But like,
yeah.
It's also like the players wanting to do it, which this time I feel like we got lucky and the left players were just there. It's always better when it's not just, because we do post-match interview where like you're always trying to get the personality of the players, right? But they're, as a professional environment, they're going to be usually like pretty serious and stuff. So you need like 2-3 players to maybe have something like that happen, which, sometimes you're going to have 3-4 players on the desk or like in a similar setting and it's going to be boring. Like there's a chance that that's going to happen. But I think something that I love when it happens, and I felt the same way about watching Lev, I'm like, damn, this team that was like my LATAM team, I lost like passion about because they were not the LATAM team anymore, so I didn't really care as much. And then I see that and I'm like, actually, that's kind of funny. I kind of want to see that more. But any time that we can just show player personalities more, I think it's a great moment, not only for us because it makes it more dynamic to have a desk like that, but also for the audience. Like you just want to have somebody that you like the personality of and you were supporting them from that. I mean, how many times do people turn into fans because they're watching streams and stuff, and you really kind of get to know the player at that level? I think it's really cool, but you cannot overdo it. It's going to be forced. The players that want to do it, the players have places to be. Like,
is it easier for you too, Dryad? Because like I saw the way Liz got to do some unique interviewing as well, like towards the end of some sets, like especially I think the end of G2, she like went down the whole line of all the players that were packing up. Like, is that like more creative from an interview process? Because your interviews hit anyways, like post match anyways, on some of the pre ones too. I feel like it's more playful. You get more props in that studio as well. Like Valon has glasses on a pre match one, but specifically for post, like I feel like you get to be so much more creative with how you can approach like a whole team. Like you're part of the huddle essentially, right? Like it's a whole different vibe.
Yeah, it's a different vibe. I like it, but I think that one also depends on what match it is, what the stakes are. Because I do like the more serious, like, I don't know, if it's let's say it's the other way around and NRG are winning it all, and then this is the qualifying game from NRG, and I want to interview a FNATIC. I actually want to know like the technical part of it. I want to know the little like more serious part of it. But if it was like a match like this one, or like with the whole vibe of the weekend was like we're chill, we're laid back, we're fun. It's fun. I think interviews, I don't know, it depends. Like you can get some good ones. The other ones are just like, yo, I'm just trying to get my shit. Can you, what are you gonna ask?
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, because the cool thing too is like they did a cool segment where like Valon's like rating all the IGLs, and like they have like laminated pieces of paper on a desk. But that's from like it'd be dope if like you combined like the couch setting with like a dope screen that you have in the studio in the back. Like I wish there was a amalgamation of both. You could just fit up like the Valorant studio, it'd be so sick.
Well, one of the things that's interesting about the current setup though is that when the players, like the place that we have the current couch setup is on a natural pathway that the players would walk through to get to certain areas of the building that they might want to end. Whereas our normal desk location, you would never have any reason to walk through there unless you specifically wanted to go to the desk. It is not in any sense a thoroughfare. You're not going to stumble upon the analyst desk and be like, oh, I should pop in for a moment. So you'd have to be much more proactive at going and grabbing players. And to be honest with you, most of the time the players don't want to be involved. I think the thing that worked with the LEVIATAN guys is that once a couple of them sat down, they were more inclined to have more and more of them sit down, because then it's not just you going and sitting on your own. Yeah, and I think it helps that Rossy is like magnetically attracted to cameras and yapping. So he is super down to do it whenever. Like, if you listen to any of Rossy's interviews with like any of the guys that go around, like Ravish, for example, you can't stop the guy from talking. You sit down for an interview with Rossy, and 10 minutes have passed before you've got to like 3 questions. So he's a very different pro player, basically. Most of the pros are not going to give you what he gives you, where he's just a young guy who just wants to talk about whatever's on his mind. So it's not always going to work the way that people want it to work. Let's move on though from this game. The probably one of the best matches of the week, maybe the best match of the week, maybe the only good match of the week.
I think it was the only good match of the week.
Yeah.
Was MIBR being able to take an extremely narrow win over C9. And this one had, first of all, I think we knew that it was going to be a pretty close game coming into it. I think a lot of people were expecting this to be close, tightly fought. You got some great individual performances coming out here, and some really interesting clashes of compositions that we weren't, that are not like super familiar. For example, on Pearl, very few people running double duelist on this map, and very few people running solo waylay on this map. So I was enjoying nerding out about this one for map 1. Cloud9 ended up taking it, but this is the only map that they take in the series. But there was some good Valorant being played here.
Yeah, this was peak for the week at least, because as you said, it was good Valorant. I've thought that the calling overall, the thing that's really impressed me these past few weeks with Cloud9 has been that their ideas. They tend to have a pretty good read on what a team is trying to approach and go for, especially out of timeouts. And there was a lot of mind games going on between MIBR, and MIBR's calling was also fantastic, which I think is it's Artisan, right, who's calling for MIBR. Yeah, I've been dead impressed with the calling of both of these teams, to be honest, and it showcased, I think, in the way that they were working. You get treated, I think, the macro play of teams often gets highlighted the most on maps like Lotus and Haven, because you end up working the map a lot more. It's kind of like a requirement to try and at least break some util before you go into side hits, or you can go into side hits if you're Cloud9, you can just hit C for 8 rounds in a row. But we got to saw, in my opinion, I think we saw the best of both of these teams. Arguably, really saw them tested, pushed on a variety of maps as well. It's rare that we're seeing a game at this point, for whatever reason, go to 3 maps between 2 teams, and it's still competitive even to the end, even if it was only competitive on the 1/2 of Haven. But it's looking. It was just exciting, to be honest. It was just exciting, and it was a good showcase, and
I have a funny story. When I did the interview with Fraud when they won. And then I'm like, okay, well, so you had the advantage, 9-3. And then it got kind of close for your map, for the last 2 maps. So how do you make sure that you close it? And then he was like, honestly, I wasn't even thinking about that. I just thought we were gonna lose the 11-3 lead like we did in Lock-In, and that was the only thing I had in mind. So I thought it was gonna happen again. The curse of me and Aspas losing last map to the fucking 3-11 curse in Brazil. So he was like, well, at least we didn't have to do that. We didn't lose that. It's all good. But
yeah, they go to the next
generational.
Then they go
trauma.
to the next map and they're up 11-3 again.
Yes, and then it was 11-3.
Yeah.
It was 11-3 in the last map.
In the last map. Yeah.
And then they
so they were up 9-3. They were up 9-3 on Lotus and then up 11-3 on Haven.
Yeah, it was the same thing. I was kind of joking about it with the Latin guys. I'm like, I see this happening. And then when he said it in the interview, we were just dying because I can't. He was like, I'm not even worried about the comeback, the 9-3, the whatever. I just don't want it to happen again.
Yeah, it is strange how many one-sided halves that we've had over the course. Because now that I'm looking back at it, I'm trying to think, was it that good of a game? Because there were some astoundingly one-sided halves. But because I remember thinking when it got to the end of Haven, I remember saying on the cast, I'm not sure you can feel super great about MIBR here because they were really, really struggling to deal with some very bog standard, just full out C execs.
Yeah,
without being able
defending
to come up,
C, they were struggling, or retaking C, they were struggling.
Or even just anchoring it, just having any setup that worked against what C9 were doing, where they would. But the executes were good from Cloud9. It's not like C9 were doing a bad job of it, but they were running some, standard 2023, like we are all going down C long, all of our util gets used, we get into good positions. But at the end of the day, I mean, that is a viable way of playing the game, isn't it? And I think credit to C9 for being able to get the detail right on the execution of that kind of stuff.
Most of the rounds were on C at the end.
Yeah.
I think like if there was a flavor for MIBR that was like consistent through every single map, it was Cortesia. Like he was doing a really good job at like in these kind of cerebral push-pull maps, being like the fulcrum, like or the middle of the compass when you draw a circle around it. Like he was doing a really good job at even finding like some of these picks on Haven in the very start. Like his A control, this guy, if you look at some of these other teams that have like newer players coming in, and is Cortesia like considered a rookie as well, or am I tripping?
Yeah.
Like he does not look or feel like a rookie when he's in these situations. He like walks up A long, no information on Cypher, like taking space, being in proactive positions, then waits for his duelist to come in, like waits a good like 8 seconds while the sight hit's still happening from short. His protocols are just so good, and it's round after round where this is possible on attack. Even on Lotus, it was kind of the same thing with them on the defensive side. Like Vise can do so much to stop things from happening. When he's the main character, I feel like MIBR have like a really good voice in the server. You switch over to like a different round, and like now you have Haven attack side where the Sentinel kind of, can do stuff, but isn't kind of the main character of the situation. Even if your site's getting hit 24/7 over and over again, the state of util in this game is like so hard for the Sentinel to be able to do something, especially Cortesia's like slow playstyle.
I would argue that it's even more essential, to be honest, that you have a Sentinel player that's willing to be proactive on maps like Haven and Lotus. Because maybe not Lotus if they're playing, it depends on the play style, but there's so many parallels actually between the way that Loud were relying on lukxo and how MIBR are relying on Cortesia to make sure that they have these late round options when the first wave of like their game plan goes wrong. And they need a pivot option because they were always inserting their Sentinel player, and Cortesia was getting punished a ton in this game and would consistently kill first player and kill the second player trying to trade out, like consistently throughout this entire series. Honestly, the level of play that he was on was unreal, and there's so many rounds that just don't go their way, to be honest, if he's not pulling off the shit that he was doing.
I think you brought up a really good point, which was that Cloud9 weren't just ignoring him; they were actually trying to deal with him. They were trying to sometimes wait for him, sometimes be proactive about it, but then Cortesia was outplaying them a lot of the time, and but
that's so confident. He's so confident, it's crazy.
Yeah, it seemed like at the beginning, like on that first map of Pearl, that we're not really punishing it as much. So Cortesia was always playing towards mid, always getting 1 and 2, like Bren was saying. And then it was like you started seeing those plays with Cloud9. It was 4 mid, just trying to take it down Cortesia, like whatever it takes to take this guy down. And then it was like transferring to like what they were doing in Haven on the last few maps too. So, but Cortesia has been doing this since that last match. He's like one of the most proactive Sentinels that we have right now. I feel like we don't see it as much anymore in general, but he's just always there. I don't think he's overdoing it, but it's definitely, now you're getting more into, okay, I know where Cortesia is going to be, or I know what the timing is going to be. So, which is what Cloud9 was trying to punish, but I mean, individually, he's just been insane. So it's not that easy to do unless you send 4 guys mid to take him down.
That round specifically too, it's just such a genius salvo to throw from sight, because like you're not sure if people are going to be walking up again. If that Tejo's like a little bit more centered towards mid, you look back at door, the person in Link is like kind of 50-50 between looking left and right. He doesn't know what's going on. Cortesia peaks at the perfect time. And also like I just become such a bigger fan of MIBR. There's more confidence in looking at them as like a top 3, top 2 team getting closer to G2, because Verno then gets to play with a team where he has so much confidence in all these roles that his teammates are excelling at so much. In the clutch, he's like a person will just end up in a 1v2 on top. And he's done that so much for MIBR in this series as well. Like he played great. He's enabled to be playing well as well. Osboss is like a demon too. Like the team is structuring to be good. I don't know what maps they have like coming up next, or what matchups they have coming up next. It's like NRG and FURIA are their next 2 matchups. Like they look to be ending pretty strong here on the end of Americas.
Yeah.
Even in terms of testing new things out with all their players, like if you want to get other people elevated to that status, you have like 2 really good matchups to try a bunch of things. Like you're already a winning team in the region, right? Like they're what, 2-1 right now? Yeah, they need like 1 more win and they're slated for playoffs. Like
2-1. Yeah, C9 would have locked up a guaranteed spot in playoffs if they'd won this one, but C9 have yet to play FURIA too. So, I mean, FURIA just look like a free dub in the column every time you see them in your upcoming schedule right now, which is rough, but they have found themselves in a pretty difficult group. Let's go on to talking about some of the predictions, I think. So last week, the Americas match of the week was C9 versus MIBR. It was the right one for us to have as the match of the week because it definitely delivered. Let's see what the Americas viewers, or just viewers in general, of Plat Chat went for with this one. Your report card says 73% of you went MIBR. Okay,
nice.
So you get it correct there, but I think you don't get points for your working. Okay, you got the right answer, but I'm not sure you got it in the correct way.
73 is crazy.
Crazy over the MIBR.
Yeah. Especially considering that this game absolutely could have been a C9 win. But all right, let's have a look at your final grade for the week then. What is your grade for the week here? We went 10-2 on our guarantees. The B minus, the B minus.
Okay, that's
you did
acceptable.
All right. You did all right, and you get a little ISO sucking on a boba.
That sticker's way too good for B minus. We gotta find a worse sticker. That's an A minus sticker. There ain't no way. There ain't no way.
out there.
I don't know if they've gotten an A yet, but the A stickers are real good.
Oh, damn.
Okay.
Okay.
There's
This
some
week is the
incentive
week.
for
This
you.
is the opportunistic week. This is the easiest.
Oh,
America's
don't
week.
say that. Then it's gonna.
Don't say that. Yeah, it's
Well,
never.
let's have a look
Every
then.
time you think
It's
it's gonna
too
be easy, it's
late.
never easy, bro. It's
Is
never
this the
easy. There's always
easiest
one
America's
upset.
week? Let's have a look. So the first
I
game.
don't know about that, fam. I don't know. Let me get my camera back in position so you're staring at my chin.
Get ready to smile, everybody, for a lot of these potentially. 100 Thieves versus 2G is the first one that we're going to be leading out with. Now, this one of all of the games made me think, should I actually send a punt on 2G?
No, and I'll tell you why. Because 100 Thieves is 2G 5 years in the future, right? Everything 2G does right, 100 Thieves is doing better. Like the flavors of 2G, if you think about it from like an eye test level, like, you know, they're relying on Luis to get these like timing picks. They're relying on Silence to open everything up. Arsenal's just better than Silence running it in. And then
You just have a vision of the game that I just don't.
I know. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Dude,
they just
if
seem
I
like
think
an
about
older, like time skipped 2G. Like 100 Thieves is a time skipped 2G that actually has
hold on,
maps that work out. Like
there's some level of hold on, because 2G's ascent didn't look too bad. Their calling has been more improved. They're making the right decisions in maps.
I'm saying there's a chance
they're
here.
They're not a shove over team anymore.
I'm not saying they are. It's just everything they do good. The way they play, 100 Thieves plays the same way better. It's like the Foot TL matchup. Like Foot just do it better. And I feel like 100 Thieves, everything 2G has in the docket, the way they're very non-hesitant going for things in a matchup like this, 100 Thieves will just do it better. Because I was on the fence. I was like 50-50, right? Like 2G are in, but why are 2G in? And you look at the why, it's the same motif on 100 Thieves. 100 Thieves are rocking Playboy Cardi, whole lot of red. And 2G just discovered Graduation by Kanye, right? They don't know what's about to happen to that guy's life, first of all, right? We're gonna get a few more good albums. But like right now, we're past the 808 bass. We're past we're past like, you know,
Dude,
the four times.
Don't let them know. Don't let them know what happens, bro. Don't let them know.
I'm just saying. We're
Keep them on that
100
old
Thieves,
shit, please.
They're there. That's enough has been said. But yeah.
Okay, let's move on to our next game.
Don't tell them.
G2 plays against LEVIATAN. And I think we've got to smile for this one too, because even me as a LEVIATAN slight believer, you don't get around this. And I'm afraid this just has to be a guarantee. There's no way around it. No way.
I tried for 20 minutes. I tried. What do you
Go on
saying,
then,
Dryad?
sell us.
Yeah.
Well, GT's winning, yeah. But what I'm thinking here is that last year the score between the two teams was 3-3, and when I was interviewing Ito, he was like, yeah, I mean, obviously GT is looking like the best team in the world, the best team in Americas for sure, but we have a read that we still had since last year that I don't think any other team has. And he said it, and I was like, you know what? You're still losing, but I see it.
Right.
But the thing is, like, I think about this. I'm like, yeah, like Lev can get the upset here. Like, I'm looking at 17 calm flanks that like G2 just can't fathom because he flanks his own flank. Like, it's gonna be crazy from Lev. And then there's a Valen post interview or like a Josh Reddy post interview We are locking in against the worst teams in the region. You will see death, decay, sadness. Their families will be notified after the matchup. We do not care. We do not care. We do not care. Like, it's wild. They're hardcore now. Like,
I'd also like to know, Dryad, what happened to that read the last time these two teams played against each other at kickoff, where G2 smoked Lev 13-5 on Pearl and then 13-9 on Fracture?
Well, I'm just repeating the interview words. This is not my own opinion. I'm a bot. I just repeat.
No, I mean, they've changed a lot since then as well. Lev do actually look better than they did during kickoff, but I'm afraid I'm not on board with the belief just yet. Maybe if Lev win this game, though, then sure. Maybe then I'll start to believe.
What's the next game?
FURIA versus Cloud9.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, God. I mean, this one's a slam dunk.
This is unbelievable. This is fucking unbelievable, though.
I feel
This
like
one's a
Cloud9
slam
lose
dunk.
this.
Is this in the
Yes,
single
it should be.
digits? Of
Nah,
In terms of
I feel
percentage of winning.
I don't think any
No.
game is ever in single digits. I think it's always at a minimum. Like, the lowest it will ever be is 10%. The
FURIA
lowest.
could stack all their players into like a Megazord with 500 health and push a site. Would they have a better or worse chance at beating C9?
Like the mech from Fortnite when they introduced it last minute into an updates into like $1 million tournament.
I don't know, if they could just combine all 5 players, like Cho'Gall from Heroes of the Storm, like you have one person they're all using abilities and one person is just fragging the whole time. Like, do they have a better chance at beating C9? I don't know. That's where my head goes for this matchup. I don't know how FURIA comes back from this one.
I think they're losing this.
Yep.
I think they're losing this, boys. All right, Sentinels versus Loud. This is our match of the week. This is the one that you can vote on in the community tab.
Real quick, do we want this to be match of the week or do we want Energy MIBR to be match of the week? It's up to you guys. I just really loved how lukxo played, and I feel like Loud vs Sen is always a good match.
I think it should. I think they're both about the same, to be honest with you. But yeah, sure. I think this one's fine as match of the week. Yeah.
Dude,
I think everyone's going to go for Sentinels, though.
the viewers are gonna get owned, and so are you. Let's run it.
Possibly. Let's have a look. Sentinels versus Loud. And there we are.
Oh my god. Are all of them okay?
I mean, this one, I mean, if lukxo continues to perform as well as he did in the previous game, then it'll be really sad when Sentinels win.
This is the big test for Sen, though. No, I'm not convinced after the EG win. They've been flip-flopping, ricocheting back and forth between having issues with being able to adapt and react accordingly when they're met with a situation that doesn't meet practice. They're suffering from some sort of issue that they're slowly trying to get over. And you're never going to see the issue materialize if the team is dominating. It's only when they get challenged in some way or form. So that's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting to see which kind of Loud we're going to be getting. Their calling looked better. lukxo was performing, like you said, lights out. If lukxo keeps it going as well, they should have a real test for Sen. I don't think this is a guarantee. I think this one has potential as long as Loud gives Sen a challenge. That's what Sen are really struggling with right now. It's like they can close out games where they are absolutely dominating. No worries at all. They're not letting that slip. It's when they're getting handed scenarios that they don't know how to work around.
Yeah, I think Sen have like the Superman weakness where it's like, it's not even a strat that's bad for them. It's not like another superpower can beat them. They're pretty bulletproof. It's just this random tiny rock called confidence for these guys, which could slip any week into where they just look like a bad team. Like, if you look at historically their post-match interviews with Kaplan as well, and like what went wrong, the team came in, we weren't having fun. Like the team just wasn't on the same page. Like this is not the Sentinels we know. Like every single loss, it's never, man. Like, you know, there is a little bit of acceptance on outplays that are happening, but even if you just go look at their worst maps, it's always Sen weren't on form in the day. And if that's a weakness for this team, like Loud could win. There's a definite flip.
I think they're back. Unlike you guys.
Okay.
I think they're back. I think that was the match that they needed. That was the kind of win that they needed. I mean, even Second said it in that interview with Wyatt. Is like, NAVI just needed to have one good game and then the floodgates are going to open. And I actually do believe that's likely. I know NAVI has been a little inconsistent since the beginning and like a big topic of conversation. But I think their win was good. I know it was against EG. I know EG was not doing good at all. But it seems like the problems that they have, they were able to figure out kind of the basis of it, and now they're able to kind of work on it. And Loud, I still, if you want to go about like challenges, sure, there's like good individual players, but I don't think it's a real challenge to say, okay, we're gonna put Sentinels top 3. I mean, Loud hasn't won a game. They've had close ones. They look good sometimes, but I don't think it's a real test. I think Sentinels should win this. I'm not gonna say too much. Also, I got a little keyword. You see that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What does
I
Cuba
see the
think
reason
about
why
this
you
game?
believe.
That's what I was about to say. Paid off. It's crazy.
Paid
What
fam.
what
Actually,
does
no,
Cuba
this one.
think?
What?
What does Cuba think?
I'm gonna throw everything. Hold up. Oh.
That was a load-bearing Cubert. Wingman has just fallen to his death.
No, he's winning.
Are they selling this thing? Like, what are they doing with him?
I don't know. When Ender was casting the game, they give it to him, and then I just asked to borrow it, and then they didn't give it back. So now it's
Well, no, for real, I don't know. Are all of these games going to be guarantees too?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean,
What more do we
probably.
have?
Let's have a
There's
look at the
one
next
where
one.
there is an asterisk. There's a big asterisk on one of them, in my opinion, which should be a guarantee still. But
Crew versus Evil Geniuses coming up here. This one's got to be a guarantee. I mean, and I'm feeling good about this one. I'm feeling solid
Really?
about this one. Yeah.
you're not thinking about the dark timeline with mustaches and goatees.
No, I'm feeling
Where-
good about this too.
It's a 3-0 team that's ready to experiment. They're already set for playoffs.
No. When has Crew experiment? No, that's not happening. They're chilling. They're gonna. They were technically like 99% in. There's just like one chance, from what I understand, where there's a 5-way tie or something, and then they don't make it, but they pretty much already make it.
But that's what I'm saying. The reason that like they'll lose only because they're already in. Let's try stuff. Like let's literally scrim on stage type shit. Is all I can think about. It's the
That's-
only one
But
for the
also,
guarantee.
No, that's not like
you
them
want
at
the
all.
number 1 seed. You want the number 1
okay,
seed
okay.
because
Yeah.
then you only are 1 game away from making it into.
What's that?
Toronto.
Is that hash browns?
Vietnamese jerky.
Open your mouth.
Vance gave it to us.
Num,
It's
num,
pretty
num.
fucking good. I rate it.
Num,
I
num,
rate
num.
this like a 9 out of 10. It's pretty good.
One bite, everyone knows the rules. What is the what's the next game then? The next game, so far every single one has been a Plat Chat guarantee. NRG versus MIBR. Now this one, potential match of the way. Oh, fuck yeah now.
There's no way.
Every fucking game. Every fucking game's a guarantee. It's always these weeks. I'm gonna choke on this Vietnamese jerky. It's always these games. There's upsets, bro. I'm telling you. Everybody, keep your eyes fucking peeled. This looks like a boring ass fucking game. G2's gonna come down with the plague. Every fucking team is gonna have their monitors unplugged. There's gonna be an upset somewhere.
Yeah.
How is that going to affect the NRG
Somewhere.
MIBR game?
Well, I don't know. It might not. I don't fucking know. I'm just saying there's gonna be an upset somewhere.
That's the issue though. If it's monitors unplugged 1800s plague level events that need to happen for the upsets ain't happening.
Have
That's
you
just the thing.
seen? Have you guys seen that energy TikTok of FNS and Aspas? Like, there's a cool comparison. I don't know if I can
Sorry,
find it.
Ness versus Aspas.
Yes.
Why?
Wait, I would find it so bad.
Oh, is it
Why are people
is it,
doing
wait.
comparisons of Finesse Aspas?
Is it like the power scaling one where it's like mid to no diff type stuff, or is it like?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that one,
it is.
this one, this
Oh
one.
my god, it's so funny.
So this is why energy is winning.
Aim. Oh shit.
Wow. That's ridiculous.
It's so good. What the?
Dude, you want to see the sound? Hold on. What sound is coming from this right now?
What's a dog on a vibrating machine, isn't it? I think he's crashed. I think his entire internet connection's died.
Dog is strong.
Old Bren has returned. Well, that does it for our predictions. So I think we're ready to send it home with Bren's Breakley Broad. But yeah, should we go for the Wyatt Weekly Award presented by Wyatt?
Yeah.
Yes, let's do it. This trophy before. Wyatt's Weekly Award. But who's getting it this time?
And Bren isn't back yet, so I guess yeah, we'll hand this one out. I want to send this one to somebody who performed incredibly well individually this week, taking his team to a victory against another incredibly good squad with a former player on it as well. Somebody who has somehow managed to avoid a lot of the greatest of all time IGL discussion stuff, and yet probably should be there. It's Boaster. I want to give Wyatt's weekly award this week to Boaster. I feel like a lot of the times when we talk about greatest of all time IGLs, we're talking about, you know, what Finesse was able to do in the past, whether Sadak's going to be able to do something good with Karmine Corp. Meanwhile, this guy is plugging away with FNATIC, quietly, of course, having, you know, the greatest year of all time in 2023 with the super team that he had. But he continues to have amazing calling games that other people are, I mean, would only dream to have. This week against Vitality, his individual and his calling was just unbelievably good. And he's been doing it for years and years and years. The Boaster stocks are not going down. He's not washed. They're going back up again. They're re-peaking. He bought the dip last year.
You bought the dip last. How far are you up?
No, he bought the dip. I didn't
he
buy
bought
the
the
dip.
dip. Okay,
He bought
his stock too.
He bought his own dip.
Bought his own insider trading. For honestly speaking, to see a leader like him go through so many changes in the tools that he has available to him, like, you know, Dirk leaving the team now with Crash, he's in the business as well, still prosper. He's still so happy when he's playing. The individual skills leveling up too. This guy's not even at peak. I feel like we're getting ready for a big scare from FNATIC when it comes to international events. I'm excited to see what's next.
And a shout out as well, considering it's Wyatt's weekly award. Wyatt has a, I was going to say regular, but it's actually fairly infrequent, but extremely high quality podcast that he does called the Unnamed Podcast with Wyatt River. And he did one recently with Zekan. I'm not sure if he's got plans for doing more coming out, but even if he doesn't, send a little subscription over there because he's got plenty of good interviews from the past too.
There was a really good interview this one.
Yeah, like an hour and a half of talking with Zekan about all sorts of different stuff. So hit the subscription, hit the bell, hit the like button, hit someone in the street and force them to watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Shout out to Wyatt for good podcast content there, good interview content. And I guess Bren died to the Vietnamese jerk, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, Alice was in chat and said the dog cut the internet, so unfortunately.
The dog
Happens to the best of us. Yeah.
So sad. All right, well then we're going to sail things home with only three of us. Thank you very much, Dryad, for joining us, and Shio as well for Americas and EMEA. Appreciate it. And we'll see you all next week with episode 213. Give us a sub, and we'll see you then. Bye-bye.